Spreading bullshit, whatever the cost, but the translation's been lost.
That was a rough one.
Yeah.
I went in a bit weird. I'm talking not on the mic, and no one can hear me.
That's okay. I've got this for people who... Oh, shit. Yeah.
And that's the set destroy.
Oh, never mind.
Didn't work?
No.
What happened?
And my phone's just glitching because my phone always glitches because for some reason. Even though my phone bothers me because it's like a decent phone, but for some reason it just sucks for me. My boss Mikey has the same phone and it's much better for him. I don't know why. No one knows why.
Yeah.
Isn't there though? We're translation lost.
Yeah, what's up?
Yeah. We listen to foreign language movies.
We watch them.
Well, yes, we watch.
Listening.
Listening is actually the thing we do the least of. And then we talk about the experience.
We don't use subtitles because we don't. Who wants to read?
Yeah, man.
A movie is about a movie, not
a book. A lot of the time, I like to not wear my glasses. You know, when I'm just lounging at home, squinting at the TV. It's not for me.
Fucking expecting me to read.
Yeah.
I'm watching a movie.
Yeah.
That's the whole. That's why we made movies, so we wouldn't have to read anything.
Yeah, exactly. We've surpassed that art form. We're done with it. It's over. Burn all the books. It's done.
I feel like you're coming through incredibly loud.
Really? Okay, weird. I feel like you look like you're coming... Oh, well, yeah, maybe I am, actually. Shit. I mistook my thing for your thing. I have a tendency to do that because I don't pay much attention. That looks more normal.
Live sound check.
Woo! That's what we're all about here. Oh, there it is. It happened. Okay.
It happened and then shut off immediately.
Yeah, that was weird. Okay, hang on. I bet I can get this going. I bet I can. Is everyone ready? Perfect. Beautiful. I hope that picked up. I don't give a shit. It's amazing.
I need to stop talking away from the microphone.
Yeah, but I think personally, I've said this before, that it creates atmosphere. That it's like you really are just chilling with us in a room.
Yeah.
But anyway, that thing that I keep trying to play and I don't think it's actually coming through is like a sample I took from the delivery of the line, a Chinese guy?
A Chinese guy?
And the guy delivers it that way in the movie that we watched tonight. And we'll get to that later. But he's the only English-speaking character in the film. He doesn't appear very often. And that is one of the first introductions we're given to him. And it was fucking hilarious. So I made Brian rewind it so I could take a sample of it. And I'm going to use it for something. I don't know what yet.
Now you're talking over the microphone?
Yeah, okay. God damn it.
This is a fucking mess.
Brian, I think you need to chill the fuck out and just accept the fact that it'll sound the way it sounds.
But it's got to sound perfect.
It'll sound grand. It's never going to sound perfect. It will always sound grand.
It'll sound perfect and I'll die trying.
I'm looking forward to it. How was your week, Brian?
My week was quiet.
Yeah.
I'm trying to think of stuff that I did this week that wasn't just like the usual yard work and
cooking. I saw another video of you cooking, or a collection of videos of you cooking on Ali's Instagram story.
Ali's I can't remember Ali's Instagram name.
It's Dr. Worm with a 0 instead of an O.
Yes.
Yeah.
So if you want to follow Ali on Instagram,
do.
And she often posts stories of me cooking.
Yeah, you can see Brian do that.
I made a fish soup. It was fucking glorious.
Yeah, I posted a story of myself cooking once, but I'm not the kind of... See, I like the story function on Instagram because I don't like the idea of posting pictures of my meals and being like, check out this meal I had today, blah, blah, blah. And having it be like, if you looked through my life, it would just be a collection of the foods I've eaten. But I like the idea of like putting up a 24-hour picture being like, I just cooked this and it was tasty as fuck. And then it's gone forever. It's no longer affiliated with me.
Yeah.
Except in people's memories. When they think back, they're like, oh, Dara, he can probably cook, according to his Instagram story. I can't really cook.
The one before the fish soup one was me making fried chicken. And I'm chopping up the wings. Like, I have to break the bones and, like, chop it up.
Yeah.
And while I'm doing it, I'm just singing fucking Merle Haggard country songs.
Well, see,
so that's what you get.
What you're neglecting to mention there is that you also wear... these fucking ridiculous rubber gloves in each video.
When I'm working with chicken, I wear gloves just so I don't have to wash my hands every 5 minutes.
Yeah, See, the thing about that is, it is definitely the more logical.
And when you're
way of doing
flouring,
it,
when you're putting,
but it's also ridiculous.
When you're putting chicken and egg and then flour, it has a tendency to get all caught up in your like fingernails. So I like to wear gloves so I don't have to wash my hands like immediately after doing everything.
Yeah.
Like
I say, like logistically it makes sense, but there's something
weird
abnormal about it to me, and it looks so fucking funny.
You have to make sure you get the rubber gloves that don't have powder on them, because that's the thing.
Jesus, that's so much effort. No, but like the fact that I never actually confronted you about it, I would just see you wearing these gloves on Instagram. I'd be like, oh, what a fucking twat. Like, because even now that you've explained it, and it didn't even take you long to convince me that it is definitely a logical thing to do. But just seeing it was like, that's stupid. That's dumb.
Such a strange thing to fixate on.
I know. I'm sorry, but I'm real finicky. If this podcast has taught me nothing else, it is that I am an incredibly finicky person.
I kind of want to quickly just bring attention to the fact that we're very relaxed right now.
Yeah,
this is the most relaxed we've like physically positioning.
Yeah, there was no discussion about it. We both just kind of naturally fell back.
Because like usually I'm sitting up on the floor on a cushion, and Dara's like sitting out on the edge of the sofa.
Yeah, like leaning forward into the mic.
Yeah.
But today Brian decided he built himself a little stand to put the microphone up higher so he could sit in a chair rather than on the floor.
Yes.
And then he used that stand for approximately, I'd say maybe 2 minutes before moving the stool he had the iPad on to the other side so that he could lean his feet on it. And then he began just holding the microphone.
Yeah,
and
now
I was
I'm lying
like,
back on my
very comfortable computer chair.
Yeah.
And so I was like, well, I'm definitely going to do the same thing. So now I'm holding my mic stand, leaning back on the couch with my feet on the coffee table, and I was looking at the fucking sound waves, and I feel like there might be a little bit of rustling, but I don't care.
Yeah.
I don't care.
Hey, look, we're giving you a longer episode this week.
Yeah, we discussed it.
We discussed it. We weren't happy with the length of the last few episodes.
Yeah. I feel like we were kind of we were like last week in particular. We were like,
well, you were fucking really sick.
I was really sick.
You were really sick.
I was really sick. I'm coming off the end of being sick now, but I was really really sick. But we very specifically said several times that we wanted to stretch the episode out just at like an hour and a half.
Yeah, and it really probably wasn't very entertaining.
Yeah, exactly. So I feel like we need to provide a bit more content because we're slacking.
Oh, my week turned into a very interesting thing yesterday.
Yeah.
I just remembered this. Our mutual friends walked to my house from Carlow.
Yeah.
Which is about 12 miles.
Yeah.
12 miles, I think.
Your dad said it was closer to 20.
Oh, maybe it is. I don't know. But yeah, it took them like 4 hours.
It's a long fucking walk. It's a really long walk. It's not that long a drive.
No,
it's
like,
a much shorter drive than I think every single
minutes.
time. Yeah, but it is a very long walk.
Have you walked it?
I've never walked it.
No, you never walked it.
No, they've walked it before.
Yeah.
I didn't walk it with them.
So
they've walked up to my house before. This is Austin, the college graduate. Congratulations. And
congratulations,
Finn,
Austin.
the psychopath. Congratulations.
Congratulations, Finn.
But yeah, they walked up to my house before, and they didn't ask me for any directions. So this is my old house, like my parents' house, and it's up in Collection.
It's up on a big hill.
On a big hill above the town. And they didn't ask me any directions or anything, and neither of them had phones.
It's basically
at the time.
like where Wayne Manor is in relation to Gotham City, but it's Dara's Manor in relation to Carlow.
Yeah, that's why I love Batman so much, man. I just related to his living situation.
I've always thought, man, that house could have a bat cave under it.
Oh man, I fucking wish it did. There was a basement. There is a basement in it.
Yeah.
And for a long time, Harry and I had converted it into like a makeshift bat cave.
That's amazing.
And it was super dope. And then I built a bedroom down there. Well, like my stepdad and I and my sister's fiance helped. We built a bedroom down there, and it became my bedroom, and it was this massive room, and I loved it.
I slept in that room at least once.
Yes,
I think.
you did, yeah. And then I had it for about a year, and then my sister and her fiance turned the entire basement into an apartment.
I remember because I think it was one of your birthdays.
Yeah, it might have been, or it might have been one of the times my parents went away.
Yeah, no, I don't know, but I remember sleeping in that room, and the couch that I was sleeping on is so far away from your bed.
Yeah, it's like you have your own little room.
Yeah. That room is so fucking long.
Yeah, we're totally detached. Like there's no connection.
And you just had a bed
whatsoever.
up at one end of it, and then like a whole couch. And
yeah, man, it was like that room that was my bedroom is now their kitchen.
Yeah, it's like a little apartment kind of setup.
Yeah, they have like a kitchen, like a dinner table. It's the same the way that I had it. They have it divided into 2 rooms essentially. They have like a kitchen table and like counters and stuff, and then they have a couch down at the other end with a TV.
I saw it when one day you were like, Brian, feed my hell dogs. Feed my hell dogs.
Only one of them's a hell dog.
Hate you.
Oh yeah, only one of them's a hell dog. And
Me
she only
specifically.
She hates you quite a bit. Yeah, but I hate you. So
that's true.
It runs in the family.
Otherwise we wouldn't be doing this podcast. If we liked each other too much, it'd just be weird.
Exactly. Yeah, there would be no dynamic, no chemistry of any kind.
So yeah, they walked up here.
Yeah.
I bought some beers because they just announced.
Yeah, they decided.
I got a call from Austin at like 7, and he was like, "Yeah, we're like an hour into the walk."
Yeah, it was kind of annoying, to be honest, because I was supposed to be going over to Finn's house after work, and it was all well and good for them.
Yeah.
Because they just woke up with this wacky idea. But I had like left my house like much earlier in the day, being like, okay, what do I need to bring? Because I'm going to Finn's house after work, and then I got to work and started my day and was like, okay, after work I'll do this, and then I'll go to Finn's house, and had my whole day planned around it, and then boom, it's not happening.
They offered you. They said if you wanted to walk up.
Yeah, I know. Yeah, if I wanted to finish work at 8:30, make a 4-hour walk to your house in Ballin, hang out for a bit, and then make the 4-hour walk back in for work at 9 the next morning.
Well, my dad would have been working today. So.
Savage, dope, awesome.
Yeah.
So I would just arrive here at 2 a.m. then party.
No,
presumably,
you would arrive. You would arrive here at about 10 to 12.
It would have been way too fucking long. That's
and I feel like
it wouldn't have been feasible. I would have
liked the fact that you had work the next day would mean you would not power through either. You would get here, maybe hang out for an hour, and then be like, "I'm really tired."
Because that's what I do. That's what I do when I come to do this. Yeah. There's no point.
But anyway, we stayed up till 8 a.m.
Yeah, you were awake and messaging in the group chat when I was getting ready to go to work this morning.
Yes, we were playing poker.
Yeah.
Yeah, we played poker from maybe 12 until 8 a.m. It was a big game, and then we had breakfast, and then I went to bed, and I got up at 4 p.m. and was like, all right, time to get ready to do a podcast.
Yeah.
And I actually feel really good, because we didn't drink that much. Like I had maybe 5 cans of beer, which is really not a huge amount in 8 hours.
I think you may have consumed more alcohol so far tonight. You put a shit ton of rum in that drink you
definitely I've had more. I don't know. It's actually tough to tell that because there was quite a bit of rum in that.
Yeah, but also 5 cans is 5 cans. But you're drinking a can now, so really it's only 4 cans.
But there's cans left over from last night.
That's
how serious that poker game was.
You're very invested.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But that was really cool. That was kind of a spontaneous thing that happened. It was cool to see Austin again after months because he's been doing his college work.
Yeah. Which again, congratulations to him.
Good start to the summer. That was my week.
Yeah.
I've been rewatching Unbreakable Kimmy Schmidt.
Oh yeah.
On Netflix because the new season's coming out this month.
Okay, cool.
And so I just was like, I'm gonna watch this again and catch up. That show is fucking hilarious.
Yeah, man. I watched the first couple episodes and I did like it. It is funny.
Yeah.
But there was something about it that irritated me. I don't know.
It's quite
what.
zany.
Yeah.
I can see that so irritating you.
But see, that's the thing, man. Is don't remember I've recommended Don't Trust the Bitch in Apartment 23 to you. That's quite zany as well.
Yeah,
but again, it's still, I don't know. I feel like it's not as in your face about it almost. Unbreakable Kimmy Schmidt is very. It's zany, and the aesthetic of it is like crazy, vibrant colors to match the zaniness of it. And I think I find it all a bit too overwhelming or something.
I would definitely suggest continue because that show gets better and better each season.
Well, I recently got back into It's Always Sunny in Philadelphia, which I got to the 3rd season of and then fell off.
You have so much.
Yeah, I know. Yeah.
So much great stuff there.
I know. Yeah. So I've been watching that again, which is great.
That might be my favorite sitcom of all time.
Yeah, it's fantastic, but it's weird. Like it's a weird kind of funny, in that there are things that I find so funny that even if I'm watching them on my own, I will laugh at them.
You got to point to like front of the mic at your mouth.
Like this? I'm
Like,
doing it very obvious. Okay. Yeah, this will do.
yeah.
There are things that I will laugh at on my own.
Yes.
But
yes.
it's always Sunny isn't like that for some reason. Like I'm watching it and I find it funny, but I'm watching it in complete silence. It's really weird. I don't know why.
I actually found I'm not really one for like laughing out loud on my own.
Yeah.
But I'll find things funny and stuff. But like I was watching Kimmy Schmidt last night. I was playing computer games while watching it because
Yeah.
I'm not gonna sit down and watch the whole thing again.
Yeah.
Especially a sitcom. But like I was sitting there and lines would like crop up and I would like actually burst out laughing.
Yeah.
There's they do stuff with rich people in that show, and the rich people are so cartoonish, like
Yeah.
and insane.
Yeah.
It's really funny.
Yeah.
I recommend that show to everyone, basically.
Interesting. Maybe I might jump back on board with it at some stage. I find that's a good one like that is Brooklyn Nine-Nine. Again, I know we talk about that show a lot, but
Because it's fucking great.
It is
of course
great,
we're gonna
but that's
talk
one
about
of
it a
those
lot.
ones that like I have laughed out loud at that show on my own.
Yeah.
But then like when Harry, you love that bit.
Yeah, I love that bit so much.
When Harry got into it and he started watching it from the start, I'd already seen it all, and I'd be like in the kitchen doing shit in the background, and he'd be watching it, and lines from it, I wouldn't even be looking at the TV.
Yeah.
And lines of it would make me just burst out laughing. Like, it
Yeah,
is a very, very funny
So
show.
actually, that's something we can talk about is the news behind Brooklyn Nine-Nine.
Yeah, that was interesting,
Getting
wasn't
axed
it?
by Fox.
Yeah, axed and then immediately picked up
because
by NBC.
apparently Fox is being run by fucking idiots.
It's not that, man. Fox are getting rid of everything.
Why?
Fox are either selling everything or cancelling it. And
Do you think Fox is being bought out?
Fox are beyond being bought out, man. Fox are selling all of their like intellectual property, and they're basically going just news.
Wow.
So there you go. Imagine all of Fox's money being.
So what
pumped
happens to
into
the
their
Simpsons
fucking
then?
news.
What's going to happen to the Simpsons then?
I don't know.
That's
Good question.
strange. Yeah.
But like everything's getting either like that's why they sold back the X-Men and the Fantastic Four to Disney. They finally sold them back to them. Well, like back to Marvel.
Which is good.
And like
I think Fox has held back a lot of IPs for a while.
No,
to,
it
to
definitely
be completely
has.
like.
But you see, the funny thing about it is, I think that Fox recently have achieved some of their greatest stuff because they did Deadpool and they did Logan in the last couple of years.
Yeah, that's fair.
They had a run of awful films, but like even X-Men Days of Future Past. Did you see that one?
No, I haven't seen it, but
That
I've
one's
heard
pretty
like
good.
it's decent.
That one's pretty good. Fucking X-Men Apocalypse is nothing. It's a nothing film.
Yeah.
But again, like I feel like they were just on the cusp of kind of figuring out some kind of rhythm, because the films that have been working for them were Logan and Deadpool and films like that, where they gave someone with a very unique vision and a very specific vision.
Yeah.
They just gave them the money and said, "Go for it, do it. Well, let's see what happens."
Which is cool. More studios should fucking do that.
Exactly.
Star Wars.
Yeah.
Which this movie, so you can't do this.
Yeah.
You're fired.
They tried to do that with Star Wars.
But they can't do that with Star Wars because
they gave it a go. Because what's the two? Oh, what's their names?
They kicked those guys off.
Someone in Miller. Yeah, I know. That's what I'm
Lord
saying.
and Miller. Yeah,
Lord and Miller.
The Lego movie
yeah,
guys.
Yeah. They just booted him. And that film. Have you seen the trailers for that film?
No, I don't care.
Doesn't look very good. Does not look
I'm
very
done.
good at
I'm
all.
so done with
That's
Star
Han
Wars.
Solo film, by the way. It's a stupid idea.
I've gone
why
from
would you
being
recast Harrison Ford? You just spoiler alert. You just killed him off.
Yeah.
You know, so you're finally allowing yourself to move away from that specific time period in an entire universe of possibilities, and you're trying to drag it back to the same fucking characters. Move on. You can't do that forever.
It's interesting because lately I've started to warm a bit to Marvel movies.
Yeah, we were discussing this last
like,
time.
I'm watching them now, and I'm like, oh, these are cool,
Yeah.
and like
What
all
other
the
ones
stuff.
have you seen? No.
I haven't watched anything since Civil War.
No.
But I'm going to watch more for sure.
Yeah, like I said, like fucking Spider-Man: Homecoming, you'd be
yeah,
into.
that's one I really need to watch.
Avengers: Infinity War, you would enjoy. It's a very good film. But
yes.
Thor: Ragnarok, you should see first.
Oh, Thor: Ragnarok is first on my list because it's directed by Taika Waititi,
and he's in it, and he's hilarious.
Yeah, he's so funny.
Yeah.
But like, yeah, it just the more I get like warmed up to Marvel movies, and I'm like, oh, I kind of like these. These are fun. The more I'm like, I never liked Star Wars. I don't think I ever really cared for Star Wars. It just never did anything for me.
That's very interesting.
Like lightsabers are cool, I guess, but
I see. I've always had like kind of a soft spot, I suppose, for Star Wars, just because I think personally, even as a kid, I always felt like there was like I liked the potential of Star Wars more than I liked what had actually come from Star Wars.
Yeah.
Like when I was like making games up in my head and pretending to be some Jedi that didn't actually exist, that was the shit that I loved about Star Wars.
Same, we used to play lightsabers as kids.
Yeah, exactly.
You
like,
could buy those really cheap lightsabers.
Yeah. I loved the idea of the Jedi. I loved the idea of the Force. I loved the idea of the lightsabers and the Empire. I just didn't. I never was that into the way that it was executed. Like, to be honest, it took me a long time to actually see all of the Star Wars films. Well, I saw the prequels because they came out within my lifetime, so I went to see them in the cinema. But other than that, I saw New Hope when I was a kid.
That's a hard one to watch.
It is, yeah.
I think every Star Wars movie is kind of hard to watch because you just fall asleep midway through.
I maintain that Empire Strikes Back is a good film. I think that's a solid film.
Empire Strikes Back is probably the best of them all.
Yeah, it's got good structure, good plot elements. It's a lot more serious than a lot of the other ones would be. I don't know. I think that one stands.
Look, people like Star Wars. More power to them.
Yeah.
Just remember that it is just for selling toys.
Yeah, that's genuinely it. George Lucas said it himself. He was like, "I'm not supposed to say this, but these films are for kids.
They're just to sell toys."
Yeah.
The story doesn't matter. The studio doesn't care about the story, really. And yeah, it just sucks. And now it's just a whole load of bullshit.
Yeah.
But they're giving Donald Glover lots of money, which I'm fine with. I really like that guy.
What do you think of? I can't remember your opinion on This Is America.
Oh, I think it's excellent.
Really?
Yeah, I really like it.
I'm not keen on it. Look, I think it's fine.
You're not keen on the video or the song?
Good question. There are aspects of the video I quite like, but I think that the whole thing is a bit on the nose.
I think there's a lot in there.
I think, I definitely agree that there's a lot in there.
There's a lot you can take from it, like.
I know. I just think that it's not just the song. It's not just the video. It's the song and the video in unison. It's the release of this bombshell, because that's what it is nowadays. Like, it's not, you don't just release the song and then the video is whatever. Like, the video is like a statement about the song, and the song and the video work in unison. But I feel like it's a bit fucking, I don't know, man.
I'm seeing a lot of like stuff on the internet where it's like, oh, This Is America explained. And I'm like, I don't feel like there's much to explain. I think you can get it all from the video.
That's what I'm saying. I think that it's the opposite of needing explaining. I think it's
so you think maybe
obvious.
it's a bit not overrated, but it's
a bit, I don't know. I just think it's a little bit upfront, like kind of.
That's fine.
Maybe
though.
I'm just.
That's the point.
I prefer like kind of. Yeah, I know it's the point. I understand what he was going for, obviously, but I personally, this is just a matter of personal preference. I prefer like something to be more of kind of an allegory, or something to be kind of a metaphorical, or like symbolic of whatever you're trying to get at.
I just think you're digging yourself a hole here.
Why?
I think you're just digging yourself a hole.
Why is that?
I don't know.
But this is just the way, like, I don't know, the way that I personally I prefer things to be.
Yeah, all right. That's fair.
And like the way, like when when I try to write things, that's the way I try to write them. Like I feel like there's a general theme to the things that I'm going for, and a kind of a bit of a message behind it. But it's not like right in your face. And it's not being kind of forced down your throat, because I find that a bit kind of what's the word I'm looking for, preachy,
Okay, moving away from the video for a bit.
Okay.
What do you think of the song itself, like the actual music?
It's not, I don't think that's another part of it. I feel like that contributes to my lack of enjoyment of the content of the lyrics, is that I also don't think the song is that fucking bopping. And
I quite like it. I think it's totally bopping.
I think
I like how he's constantly evolving as like a musical, because like if you listen to his last two albums, they're so different.
I agree with you that it's good to see evolution in an artist.
What did you think of his last album?
Man, I think I only actually listened to like half of it, but I
Okay.
I liked it. I liked the vibe of it, but it was like it was less music that I would like put on and listen to again and again and
That's
learn
fair.
every
Yeah,
word
that's
to and stuff. And
totally
more
fair.
something that was like nice to have on in the background. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, no.
I feel like I don't know. I feel very fed up of just electro pop at the moment, unless it's like really really good. Unless
Yeah,
it's
yeah.
something that I'm like, whoa, I never would have thought of that. If they like, that's all it really takes for me these days from an electro pop kind of song, or some just anything with a kind of a beat. You know, a very manufactured beat. Is it just needs to have a thing that I think is really dope.
Yeah.
And I'll probably like it, because to me they're starting to all sound a bit sameish, where it's just like, oh yeah, this is like just a kind of a groovy vibe, and then occasionally there's like a dope ass thing. You
Yeah,
know?
yeah.
And I don't know. I don't. I feel like maybe I would have enjoyed this song more like a year ago.
I
or
don't
6
think it's
months
a
ago or
really
something.
bold statement or anything, but like there is quite a bit of stagnation in like modern pop music, but there's stagnation in all pop music. We just remember the good shit.
Yeah, yeah.
You know, every era has like sounds the same.
Yeah,
But
no,
we just remember all the
absolutely,
good
yeah.
ones. So.
Yeah, of course.
But I think right now it like there's a very distinct sound that's constantly there,
yeah,
and it's easy to get sick of.
yeah, it definitely is.
yeah.
Yeah, and it's easy to. We see the thing about it is as well is that it's also easy to like. It is.
Yeah.
So like I feel like a lot of it is getting by because it's serviceable rather than good. Do you know what
Yeah.
I mean? That this is my personal opinion, but I think that I don't think I'm not seeing as much innovation in that area, or maybe I'm looking in the wrong places. I very
Maybe you're
easily
looking
could
at the
be.
wrong
I
places.
don't explore like
I
that
listen to a
much.
lot of indie stuff,
Yeah,
like
yeah.
out there kind of things, and there's innovation there, but I don't think any of the like really mainstream stuff is like Drake releases new songs every little while,
Could
and
not give less of a fuck about Drake. to
and
be
like I
honest.
feel like his stuff is very samey. And it's
Yeah,
just-
absolutely. Yeah,
I
like,
have nothing against Drake. He seems like a nice guy.
seems like a nice guy, and I have respect for the amount that he
Yeah.
produces.
He does.
You know, the amount of
he's
songs he
really
actually
successful.
writes and releases. And again, I can't say that I necessarily dislike Drake, because when his music is playing in the background, I'm like, yep, serviceable,
that's Drake.
nice chill vibe.
But I think
going
that's
to this.
quite an interesting thing about music right now is I find a lot of it to be totally serviceable, which maybe 6 years ago I was one of those people that was like, I hate all of pop music is terrible.
Yeah,
And I kind of like that I find most of it serviceable now, because maybe it means it either means that it's gotten better or I've mellowed out.
Yeah.
So either way, it's a
Either
good
way,
thing.
that's a pretty good thing.
How was your week?
It was pretty good. I was actually gonna.
Oh, you're gonna.
I have
you're
a
not
cool.
done.
I had a segue, Brian.
Oh
so Let's
shit!
do this naturally, okay? So
Shit.
we're talking about music. We're talking
Talking
about
about
music.
music.
Actually, I'm not listening to much electro pop at all lately. I've been listening to Car Seat Headrest.
Oh
who
yeah,
I went to see.
You went to see Car Seat Redhouse.
Red.
Car Seat Redhouse.
Oh, we'll edit that out.
No, we won't.
No, I went to see Car Seat Headrest with my cousin Maisie, which was pretty cool.
How were they? I've never listened to Car Seat Headrest.
They were very, very good. They are very, very good. It's really just this guy. It's primarily this guy, Will Toledo, and he like writes all the songs and stuff.
Okay.
And he's been kind of adding members to the band Car Seat Headrest for a while now. But
It's a
they all
collective.
play really, really well together. And one thing I thought was really dope is that the opening act, right, came on, and it was like a 3-piece band, guitarist, bassist, and a drummer. And they were dope. They were really good. And then they finished, and then they came back on with Car Seat Headrest. They were part of Car Seat Headrest for the night. And apparently they've just been touring with them that way. They open for them as
really
their
cool.
own band, and then they play with them as the full band. But yeah, it was a good show.
You sent a video to the group chat without like saying anything.
Yeah.
And I saw it.
Yes.
And
you were the only one who did.
At first, I was like, "Oh, is Dara playing a gig somewhere?" And I was like, "No, those lights are far too elaborate for Dara." They're like changing. They're changing.
That much of a shit about Darren's light show.
No, I was just like, this seems like if this is Dara, he's doing pretty fucking well.
Yeah.
Because you've been playing gigs with lately, like Maybe it was maybe just after Christmas, and
A bit, yeah. Like I've been playing a couple gigs.
I maybe was drinking a little bit of rum when you sent that video because it was quite late.
Yeah, it was quite late, but I'm hoping to play some more gigs.
Yeah.
Hopefully sometime soon. Bit of sizzle. What's it called? But yeah, I got there early to Carsey Headrest.
Yeah.
And got this wristband.
Yes,
And
I
then
can
we
see
could
it.
go to the front, the very front area. And then Maisie and her friend, my cousin Maisie, and her friend Brody showed up a while later, and they didn't get the wristband. So for the opening act, they stood on the opposite end of a barrier. And,
Oh, no.
Like, but they were right beside us. They were just over this barrier.
Oh, okay.
And we were like standing there listening to the act with them. And then like during the intermission, was like chatting to Maisie and her friend, and the security guard saw us together and was like, "They can just come in." And
That's cool.
Yeah, he was super sound. But what I
Yeah.
really liked about it was that it made me look like, even though it was it was a sheer like stroke of luck, but it made me look like the cool older guy who's just got it covered. Who's
Oh yeah, you're like
Yeah.
you turned to the security guard and you said they're with me.
yeah, exactly. Yeah, like I'm super legit or something.
They're cool.
I like to impress people younger than me who don't realize how much of a fucking shamble I am. Ooh, that's not a good
bit
look.
of a tummy rumble there.
Brian's
Ooh.
rubbing his stomach.
Oh, I gotta sit up.
right
I think
now.
for a second.
Oh no! Oh goodness! He needs to realign.
Might have a bit of a burp coming. I'll move away from the mic to do that though.
Don't you dare!
It's either a burp or a fart.
Burp directly into the microphone or fart directly into the microphone.
I'm not gonna fart into the microphone.
Man, I think you should.
That'll get caught really right in our pop filter.
Yeah, you'd be able to smell it off the sock.
We still are using socks as pop
Yes,
filters.
we are. Yes, I'm going into the music vault on Tuesday though, and leaving in my electric guitar to see if they can fix it. So I'll ask about pop filters then.
Yes, do. I'll be going in at some point to get. If you tell me when they're going to have pop filters in, I can get them when I'm getting my mandolin strings.
Good idea.
Because my mandolin needs to be restrung.
Restrung. I'll
Restringed.
have you know. What's it called? Yeah. Also, I feel like you'll be excited by this.
Yes.
I watched the first season of One Punch Man.
Oh, excellent.
Yeah.
Austin was saying they were watching it last night.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah, it's dope.
Yeah, we should talk a little bit about One Punch Man.
Yeah,
Have
man.
you watched it all?
Yeah, I watched the first season, which is on Netflix.
There's
Is that
only
the
one season, yeah.
Are they making more, or what's the crack there?
They said they were 2 years ago.
Fuck.
But sometimes these things take a while.
Yeah. Yeah.
Hopefully they do make more because that's a really good show.
Mm.
Yeah, that's just a great show. It's funny and
Yeah.
what did you think of it?
I really enjoy it, but I like that it's very much a parody on all the kind of stuff that I'm into. I like the whole over the top nature of the supervillains attacking the city.
Yes.
And I love that it's implicit that this is like just everyday life for these people in all these different cities like city A or whatever. They're all just like, oh yeah, these things just attack, and that's it. Like, we've got these heroes, so hopefully they can deal with it when it happens, but we could die at any second. They've all accepted it, and I think it's fantastic.
One thing I really like about it is whenever I see like Japanese take on the idea of Western superheroes, they always give them like interesting powers, and the designs are always like more interesting to me than like Superman or whatever.
Yeah.
One that's really good for that. It's a bit generic like story wise, but it has a lot of like cool superheroes. Is My Hero Academia, which I would suggest watching if you liked One Punch Man.
Yeah.
It's a lot more. It's played a lot more straight. It's about a kid who wants to be a superhero in a world where most people have powers, but he doesn't have any. And
that sounds cool.
It's really good, and it has their own Superman. And he's
cool.
the best Superman.
Nice.
He's the best of all the Supermans.
Awesome.
Yeah, One Punch Man is excellent. It seems like that would get old.
Yeah, but it just doesn't, because like a lot of the time I found that they compensate for the fact that he can defeat any enemy with a single punch by just making an interesting story that leads him to the villain.
Yeah,
like sometimes it just takes him a while to get there, and we're just watching him get there the entire episode, and then as soon as he gets there, it's over. But the whole episode he's like running along the street, just being like, "Oh, I wonder where I'm going." Like, I just like that.
You know the episode with the Sea King and Moomin Rider.
Yeah, that one's great.
And
I love that one.
there's that bit in the rain where it's the bike guy is just fighting this.
Yeah, and he just...
That's like a really well done scene.
Yeah.
That's like super emotional.
Yeah,
and,
it
like,
is.
really
Yeah.
good.
Yeah.
In a show that's like kind of a joke.
Yeah.
Like they do a lot of that in it, and it's really cool.
Yeah.
Mob Psycho 100 is another one.
Yeah.
It's by the same creator.
Oh, dope.
And it's about this kid who is psychic.
Yeah.
And they exorcise ghosts from places. And he's like the strongest psychic.
Nice.
It's very similar to One Punch Man.
Yeah.
It's, I think, funnier than One Punch Man.
Really?
And the art is better, I think.
Interesting.
It's definitely worth it. It's one season as well.
Though, is it on Netflix?
It might be. Yeah, I think it's coming on this month at some point.
Oh, wow.
Yeah,
awesome.
I think they bought the rights to that.
Cool. I'll check that out.
Yeah.
Because I was looking... I finished One Punch Man while I was in work earlier, and I was looking for something else to watch, and I ended up watching something that Roshin recommended to me once, so shout out Roshin, thank you for that. It's called The Disastrous Life of Psyche K. And it's like similar to what you described. It's about this like psychic telepathic dude.
Okay.
And he's pretty much like all powerful, but it's basically just about how he wants to him living his life in high school, trying to remain undetected as this all powerful kid. And it's weird, man, because I watched like 2 or 3 episodes, and I do quite enjoy it, but I find it strange that I enjoy it because there isn't really much of a plot to it. It's like every episode is like 3 scenarios that resolve themselves within like 10 minutes, you know? And there's no like kind of interconnecting theme between them. It's just him, like different things happening to him that are kind of funny. But I enjoyed it though. It was interesting. It killed some time, so I might go back to that. Let's see.
I actually watched an anime this week as well.
Oh yeah,
a new anime that I had not. Well, it's not new, but I hadn't seen it.
Interesting.
I had seen a bit of it, and then I was like, Ali would like this, so I rewatched it with Ali because I hadn't seen it in ages. Made in Abyss.
Okay.
Haven't
heard of it.
It's about a giant abyss that these kids go down into, because her mother's at the bottom of the abyss.
Yeah.
It's really hard to explain, but it's full of monsters and shit. And it's like they're cutesy characters, but it gets really dark.
Right.
Like, really fucking dark. And it's very good. It's the art is absolutely beautiful. One of the background artists is a guy who worked on Spirited Away. So all the backgrounds are fucking phenomenal.
Yeah, the Spirited Away is like a legit anime thing because I've seen it.
Yeah, that's a great movie. That's a fucking excellent
really good movie. Yeah.
I'm not going to say much more about Made in Abyss because I don't really you haven't seen it and you don't know what I'm talking about.
Yeah.
And I'd say just it's very dark. It's very dark. Watch it if you think you can handle it. Don't look up anything about it. Just go in blind. It does a really good job of explaining everything. And
awesome.
It's great.
Dope. Do you know what we haven't watched yet? We need to get on.
What?
Batman Ninja.
Yeah, that's out.
Yeah, it's out now.
Did you hear that? Here's the really interesting thing about Batman Ninja.
I'm glad I brought it up. I was in my head. I was like, ooh, what if this goes nowhere?
The English version and the Japanese version are both written entirely differently and almost story-wise are entirely different.
Really? Interesting.
In terms of writing and the lines that people are saying, they're like entirely different.
Very interesting.
It's like two different stories.
Wow. Okay.
That's so weird, but it doesn't matter to us because we'll be watching it.
No, but that's kind of it's a shame that it doesn't matter to us because I'm definitely going to watch that film in English 100% after we watch it for the podcast.
Oh yeah, for sure.
Yeah, this is the first film I've ever gone into preemptively knowing that I'm going to watch it in English.
That you're going to rewatch it.
Yeah, because I'm
you're a bit of a Batman boy.
I'm what's known as a bat bitch.
A bat bitch.
Yeah,
that's horrible.
Oh, I'm sorry.
Oh my god, we're nearly 40 minutes in.
Are you serious?
Yeah.
Fuck's sake. Wow. Long episode, folks. We told you.
Long episode.
Yeah.
We had a big old chat.
Yeah, nice old chat.
I suppose we'll get into the fucking movie that we watched for this podcast.
Because Ali wrote us out these lovely notes.
Yeah, she actually really went
out.
There's some trivia here and everything.
Oh.
So the movie we watched.
Aye.
A little Chinese movie by the name of Wolf Warrior. That's
I don't know why I made that
incredibly
noise.
racist.
Yeah.
Oops.
Whoopsie.
It was directed by Wu Jing, starring Wu Jing. Yeah, he's the Wolf Warrior. He was like, I want to make a movie where I am the Wolf Warrior, and people will then know who I am, and that is the Wolf Warrior.
And I think his attitude was, I'm gonna make this movie called The Wolf Warrior. I'm gonna be the Wolf Warrior, but I'm not gonna get super buff. I'm gonna look the way I look in everyday life, so that when people see me in everyday life, they think of the Wolf Warrior.
They'll be like, whoa, that's the Wolf Warrior.
Yeah, wow, look how scrawny and tiny the Wolf Warrior is. No, in reality, all anyone would ever say when they see that guy is,
Chinese guy?
You're really getting that in there.
I fucking love it. I love it so much.
Dara,
I know it's probably not even audible, but I don't care.
Dara recorded a guy in the movie saying, a
We already
Chinese
talked about
guy?
this.
Yeah, I know. I'm just
Reminding them in case they were
because I forgot. So it stars Wu Jing, Scott Adkins, who was in EastEnders, which is very strange.
Is that the
That's-
only English-speaking
That's
character
the
in it?
Englishman.
He's English.
He's English,
Man,
yeah.
I thought
He was
he
in
was
EastEnders
Australian.
for like
he
6
sounded
years.
Australian sometimes.
EastEnders
EastEnders.
for 6 years.
Okay, I believe you based off of the EastEnders. You don't have to keep
That's
saying
crazy.
It is crazy.
It's,
Nice to see that he's gone so far.
Yunnan and Kevin Lee.
Kevin Lee.
Yeah, that's a very Chinese name.
It is. But well, like it's half of it is very Chinese.
No, I knew a Chinese guy called Kevin.
Really?
That's like a Chinese name. Kevin.
I know a
Ken,
Chinese guy called Mark. He's my cousin.
That's nuts.
Yeah.
Who gave him that name? Okay. So we don't have any budget, I think. Yeah, we don't have any
Really?
budget.
I thought I saw a bunch of zeros. I assumed that was.
No, that's we're getting there.
Okay.
It made 89.9 million at the box office, so it definitely made
What?
money. Yeah.
Shit! Oh my god!
This
Well,
did
to be
really
fair,
well
it
in
was,
China.
It was pretty good.
The actual here's a really interesting thing. The sequel, Wolf Warrior 2, is the highest grossing movie in all of China,
Yep.
which is that's quite a feat.
Yeah, we'll watch that at some point, but it's like 2 hours long.
We will watch it when we got to mix around our schedule a bit.
Yeah, we're gonna be.
We're planning
mixing up
on
now
doing
it's
that, so
Summertime.
We could maybe start looking at longer movies.
Yeah.
Right
Yeah.
now, it's a big thing to find a movie that fits the timeline.
Yeah.
Because Dara doesn't get here until 6. And
Yes.
Yeah. So usually we're recording well into the night.
Mhm. Yeah. Not tonight though. Still. Well, no, it's actually gotten dark. Never mind.
It's 10:15 right now.
Are you serious?
Yeah.
Wow. Time flies.
So the script went through 14 drafts over 7 years.
Wow.
They used fire missiles. That's 5 missiles. They used 5 missiles.
Ali,
Ali's
your
V
handwriting
looks like an
sucks.
R. Each value of 1 million yuan.
Yen.
No, yen is Japanese.
Okay.
Yuan is
Yuan.
uh,
Is
Chinese.
yuan as like dirt a currency as yen? In that like it's not worth much. Like is a million yuan
1 million
much?
yuan is 133,000.
See, that's
It's
quite
similar
a lot.
to yen.
That's a
yeah.
lot. That's a lot though. You know,
Yeah.
like that is expensive for 5 missiles. So they spent
Each.
that on
It was
that each.
So it was
like,
5 million yuan.
yeah.
Plus 30,000 rounds of ammunition.
Hmm.
Wu
They
Jing.
put all of that to good use.
Wu Jing, the director and starring actor, didn't just put himself in this movie as like a thing. He wasn't just like, I'm going to be the big action guy. He actually trained for 18 months at a camp in Nanjing military region. So he put in that time, didn't get buff at all.
No, but there's a bit at the start. There's a bit of a dispute about this early into the film because there's a bit where he's doing a lot of push-ups in his vest and his tank top in like an army base, and this lady comes in and he stands attention, and I was like, no man, he's ripped, he's super ripped, he's just incredibly lean, and you were like, no, he doesn't look that big.
No, he looks like a Chinese guy who jogs.
I don't know, man. I don't know. He had some big ass arms. I don't think
I
the
don't think
lighting
his
was.
arms
I
were
don't
that
think the
big.
lighting was very flattering for them. I think,
No.
and also he was covered in all that fucking water, and that didn't help.
We'll get there.
Yeah.
That's our bonus.
Yeah, but
I
bonus.
should write that down.
Bonus point.
I'm just going to put a big W. My left
That
hand.
looks awful. Okay.
And it, I don't know what this word is. Hodding Awards. I'm so sorry. Both for completely burping my ass off and for just messing up Huading Awards, which are the Chinese Entertainment Awards. It won Best Screenplay, Best New Director, Best Action Choreography, #1 film voted by audience, and Best Producer. This movie did well in China.
Best Producer is an interesting one.
Mm-hmm.
Because it's kind of hard to pinpoint exactly what a producer does. It varies from job
Not
to
very
job.
much.
Yeah, yeah.
I get
lot of the
really
time.
mad whenever like a movie comes out and they're like, from the producer of, and you're like, that means
Yeah, fuck
fucking
all.
nothing.
From the
That
guy
just-
who provided a lot of funding for.
Yeah, it's basically like, you know that guy who made that movie you really like? He's gonna get a cut from this movie too. Like there's a new Spike Lee thing coming out, and they were like from director Spike Lee and producer Jordan Peele, because Jordan Peele just did Get Out. And he's
Yeah,
kind of big right now.
they want to throw.
And
the
you're
name
like,
in
you know,
there.
he
Yeah.
probably didn't like do much on that. He's just a producer.
Yeah, yeah.
And it's probably gonna suck anyway because Spike Lee's directing it. He directed the worst basketball video game I've ever played.
Really?
Yeah, he
The
directed
basketball video
the
game?
story for NBA 2K17,
2K17.
and it's the fucking worst.
2K
2K16 maybe.
That is too recent for Spike Lee to have been directing it. Like that's that I feel like that's a low level thing to do. I feel like that's something you do when your career is
So
Really
here
out.
I'm gonna just go into spoilers for NBA 2K16 real quick here.
It's been 2 years. Get
At
over
the
it.
end, your friend dies in a car crash, and that's like the sad, emotional hook. But your friend for the whole game has just been an asshole who's using your fame as an NBA player to like get nice cars and women, and has generally just been a piece of shit the entire game.
Oh,
So
well,
when he
fuck him.
crashes
Yeah,
the
fuck
car,
him.
you're like, that's hilarious.
Yeah.
Spike Lee is trying to make me feel feelings in a fucking NBA game.
Oh, it's Spike Lee. Gave it his best shot.
Uh,
Probably not.
No,
he
you
probably
think he
phoned it
did?
in. I'd say he
Yeah.
probably phoned it in. I'd say he was like, fuck this
he
shit.
was like,
This
who
is just
cares?
video
It's a
game."
fucking video game.
Yeah, and no, it's not just a video game. It's a basketball video game.
Yeah.
Yeah. Right, back to the fucking film.
Back to the movie.
Yeah.
What is Wolf Warrior, Dara? After you're done vaping. Right into
Wolf
the mic.
Warrior.
I'm pretty sure that's terrible for the microphones.
Sorry.
It's okay.
Wolf Warrior is a film about a real hardy lad.
He's queer hardy, man.
He's queer fucking hardy, and it's very
Fucking unit.
It's the whole film is about him doing badass shit. Basically,
Yeah.
It starts off with him doing some badass shit with one military group, and then he's so good at that they move him up to a
Yes.
higher ranking military group, and then they do something.
They pluck him from his military.
Yes.
Quite literally.
Yes.
They dangle a rope out of a
Yeah.
helicopter.
Yeah, and they pull him to this other place.
Yeah.
And then he joins up with that military crew, and then they do some military stuff, and then there's a big fight at the end, and we have no idea what their objective was, but it was pretty
Something else.
action-packed
Yeah.
and pretty entertaining, I would say, on the whole.
I think overall our mood was quite positive while watching this movie.
Yeah, I definitely think it lulls, but
Yeah, there's a few lulls in there.
but then it did have like a pretty satisfying conclusion to it.
Yeah.
So it was a bit rewarding getting through that lull, because a lot of the time,
there was one bit towards the end where I was like, guys, stop shooting guns for a minute and fist fight.
yeah, but then they did.
But it took so long.
I know it
to
did
get
take
there.
a long ass time, but they finally did, because we have watched films for this podcast in which they would be shooting at each other for a long time, and we'd say, come on lads, fight each other, and then they wouldn't. Someone would just get shot, and that'd be the end of it. So at least it
What
actually
movies have we watched where that
climaxed.
happened?
Well, like I'm thinking movies like Sendero. Do you remember that, where there's just that?
Oh, dude,
that really
I blanked.
You Matt LeBlanc did.
I-
It's you pulled a Joey from Friends. You're unimaginably thick, and you just forgot it completely.
Yes,
No, it
yes.
ends. Sendero ends with a really anticlimactic face off where
Yes.
where they're holding a gun at your wand. And
Sendero is the one where it's the house.
yes.
Yes.
Yeah. And
I
the
forgot
path.
which one of those shitty
yeah,
horror movies
yeah.
that even was.
Yeah, it's that one.
It was a bad few weeks there.
Yeah, there was a difficult stretch. But yeah, it's like, so I'm just glad that this film actually did amount to that, because it kicks off with a very impressive action sequence, like a really entertaining action sequence. And that kind of that sets the ground running. hits the ground running for the film,
Yeah,
and then
yeah.
the pace is like maintained for a little while. To be fair, I'd say like
Yeah.
the first like half hour of the film are quite action packed and like breezy, and then it lulls, and then the conclusion is pretty satisfying. So ultimately, I would say that's a pretty well structured film for one of these.
For one of the
to watch
for
it the
what
way
it
we
is,
do, you know?
I was kind of there was a point where I turned to you and I said, I feel like this is better than it has any right to be.
Yes, yeah, and you that was very accurate.
Yeah.
Yeah, because it came for us anyway. It came out of kind of nowhere, really.
We were watching it and we were like, this is like Chinese Michael Bay, but
Yeah.
for some reason I like it more.
Yeah, it was more endearing because it had that Michael Bay over the top kind of action where it's all non-stop explosions and tanks and guns and military officials, but it didn't have the perverted Michael Bay sheen. Do you know what I mean?
Oh,
it
yeah.
wasn't all simmering in orange and underage girls in revealing clothing and grease and sweat and stupid.
It's always
fucking,
grease and sweat.
isn't it?
He's
yeah,
always
man.
got big, greasy, sweaty titties.
Yeah,
in his
the
movies.
shiniest people.
It's fucking crazy.
Yeah, even fucking what's his name, Shia LaBeouf. He is
He's
sweaty.
so sweaty in
those
that movie.
movies.
What
How hot is it wherever the fuck?
Well, it's
of
orange, so
Transformers
it
is
looks
set,
really
yeah.
hot too, and it's
Yeah,
even worse.
Those films are set on Mars. Like, I don't understand.
Those films make me feel muggy.
Yeah,
Like
yeah,
I start
legit.
thinking that I'm like sweating.
Yeah,
Because
but
I'm like,
this-
it must be really hot.
This film had more like it had those like big explosions and the military and all that, but it was working on a tighter budget, so it was shot in such a way that they were really well utilizing whatever they had, and that actually brings to my first point, which was the cinematography, which I was really impressed by because,
Yeah.
like I say, like it was very obvious. You could see watching the shots if you looked closely exactly where the explosions were and where they were rigged to go off, right? But you could also see like that the actor or the stunt people, I suppose, are like running so close to them.
Yes,
And it's so
yes.
fucking dangerous, and it's
Yeah.
very obvious that they cannot have many more than one takes to get it. And so that they're just being very, very sparing with the footage. They're keeping their distance away from the actors so they don't have to get too close up, and they can kind of cheat it a little bit to make it look more convincing.
Yeah,
you know, they there's just a lot of like interesting perspective shots. There's like a bit where there's a lot of shots that are like through the scope of the sniper.
Yes.
Which is pretty cool. And then there's a lot of shots like there's a scene where the new super army recruitment thing that he's been signed up for approach him for the first time after he was dangled off the helicopter.
Yes.
And all the tanks ride right up to him
Yes,
to kind of
yes,
like
this
as
is
an
really well done.
intimidation thing. And one of the tanks rides right up to him, and
So the barrel.
the barrel is like right in his face, but there's a POV shot from the inside of the barrel as it like approaches him and just fixes right in front of him.
Yeah, it's really nice. Like it's.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It was just I don't know, like it was like it was very obvious, and this will probably lead pretty well into one of your points to me, that the budget wasn't that high on this film, but they worked very
No.
well around it.
Yes,
you know?
yeah,
I think.
yeah.
Do you get where I'm going?
I
with
definitely
that?
get where
Yeah.
you're going from it. Yeah,
Yeah.
from watching the movie. Like,
Yeah.
definitely there was lack of budget there.
Mm.
That they did really good job of like utilizing it in the right way. You know what I mean?
Yeah. In a Deadpool-esque kind of way. We were talking about Deadpool last week.
Yeah.
And how like that was made on a low budget for Hollywood.
Yes,
but
for a
the
superhero
director
movie.
was a visual effects artist, and so he knew what he was doing in that department, and so he knew how to make it look good,
Dude, for
without
that
splashing out.
to be on such a low, like on a low budget, that last scene with the giant tanker, or not tanker,
But the fucking helicarrier thing,
helicarrier thing.
Yeah,
That's
I think
really
it's a
well
helicarrier
done.
Anyway, yeah, it's really, really well done.
Yeah.
There's loads in that film that's really well done, and I've watched that film.
That's
like,
such a cool location as well in that
It
movie.
is. It's a good
really
place
fucking
for a
good.
fight.
Yeah.
I've seen that film a couple times, and every time I see it, like the shots in it become. I can see more how fake they are, and how where it shifts from shot to shot.
Yes.
From actual Ryan Reynolds in the suit to just some computer animated thing. But even when it switches, and I can tell that it's switched, it looks so convincing.
Yeah,
You know, because it's just for a split second, and because they do it from the right angle, so that it's kind of far away and you can't really tell. Like, it's well handled, and that's kind of the vibe that I got from this film, especially with the special effects. Which
yes, there's a scene in this movie where
this is Brian's first point, by the way.
Yes, where we get the titular wolf warrior and his squad get attacked by actual wolves.
Yeah. This is where we assume the name comes from.
I say actual wolves. What I really mean is computer-generated wolves.
Yes.
Very computer-generated wolves. And it's very obvious that they're computer-generated. But it doesn't look bad. They're in the dark. You watching it and your brain is like, that's very fake. But I can... I can turn off my... I can suspend my disbelief. Suspension of disbelief.
That's it,
like,
yeah. And it's cut very quick as well.
Yes.
So you're never looking at the wolves for too long from the one angle, you know, and that kind of helps to give, because from some angles, sometimes it's like a shot right over the heads of the wolves.
Yes.
And it's just their fur, and the fur, when it's just the fur, they make that kind of look a bit convincing. And then they cut away to a shot where it looks awful, but you've just been slightly convinced, so that kind of carries through almost.
Yes,
Yeah.
yes.
So it's kind of keeping you on your toes. Like, you never get a proper good look at them, but you're still very much aware of them and the threat that they pose.
There's one shot where he's fighting the wolf with the scar, and it does like a close-up of the wolf's face, which should look bad, but it doesn't. Like, it looks fine.
And even, like, he kills that wolf. Obviously, spoilers for all this. But he kills that wolf by, like, digging the knife on the end of his gun into it and hoisting it up over his head.
Yes.
And, like, even, like, the shot of the wolf on his gun lying lifeless, it's very clear that the wolf isn't really connecting with the gun, because it isn't really there. But, like, they show you a quick shot of him, like, driving the knife into the dog from close up, into the wolf from close up, and then it cuts to far away where it's practically a silhouette of him just holding the dog in the air.
Yeah, and it looks good.
It looks good because it's a silhouette, you know.
There is a downside, I think, to the special effects though, and that's whenever anyone gets shot.
Yeah,
there's
spray
a
of
very
CGI
fake
blood.
Spray of CGI blood that just looks awful.
Yeah.
Like, really bad.
Yeah.
But apart from that, I think, like, most of the special effects, the pyrotechnics.
Yeah, that's the thing. There was a lot of practical effects that were really, really good.
Whenever there was an explosion, there was a real explosion, and it looked great.
Yeah,
like,
it really did, yeah.
There was that one shot where the guy, he's running through the forest, and he jumps over a log and rolls as he gets shot at.
Yeah.
And all these squibs go off and blow up the scenery around him and look really good while he's rolling through it.
Yeah,
and it just looks
carrying on.
Like, it just looks really real and, like, really cool.
Yeah. But then there's then there's a lot of stuff like that that's like for example, there's a minigun in it at one point, and it's very clearly firing off fake bullets, and there's a fake muzzle flash coming from it.
Yeah.
And that looks dumb, and it's shooting people, and the spray of fake CGI blood looks dumb. However, it still really impresses me that they actually shot a bunch of people down with a minigun. Because most of the time, someone whips out a minigun and they just shoot it at a fucking car or something. You know, it's never used to just tear people apart. And with this, they went for it. Like, he was just mowing people down. Like, they were like, I know the blood flying from them didn't look good, but there was a lot of blood flying from them.
It's not quite Rambo 3, but it's pretty. Have you ever seen Rambo 3?
I've seen clips from it.
There's a similar scene where he gets I think it's an MP40 machine gun. I'm probably picking that's probably the wrong name.
I don't know shit about guns. I can't confirm or deny that.
No, MP40 is a little cylindrical gun. This was an MG42, I think. But he's on a big truck-mounted machine gun, and he fires into a big group of people, and dudes are, like, splitting in half.
Yeah.
And it looks fucking awesome.
Yeah.
And that's similar to what you were talking about. Like, in a lot of movies, when they pull out the big gun like that, it's to shoot a helicopter or a car or something. You rarely get to see it just tear through a bunch of people. Yeah, and that's always fun.
And again, that's another thing where where the cinematography comes into play, because it's well shot in the sense that it does shoot a car,
Yeah.
but it's shooting a car
And
while
six guys
moving
behind it,
to
yeah.
try and hit the 6 guys standing behind the car. So you see the car getting torn apart by bullets, and that kind of gives the illusion of oh my god, this thing is powerful, and then you see the guys falling in the background. However, unconvincingly, your mind is still kind of tricked into thinking that it looks good.
Yeah,
you know.
There's a shot very early on. There's a bit where he shoots from a sniper rifle, and you see the bullet come out.
Yeah,
and it looks awful.
Yeah, it looked really, really
looks
bad.
terrible.
Yeah, super rubbery. But you see, that's the thing, is that this film had the perfect blend of special effects and practical effects, because there was enough like impressive practical effects that that the incredibly brief moments of shitty CGI rolled right over my head. Like you'd notice them, but then it'd be over and you'd move on because other shit's happening. And that shit looks real because it's just real people doing real shit.
I feel like you gotta give kudos to the director, because he knew what he needed to do in the movie, and he knew what they used their special effects and CGI very well and didn't overdo it. They knew when to use it and when not, when they had to use it and when they didn't have to use it.
Yeah, and they knew, like...
And I think that's a difficult thing to kind of... You see a lot of movies that use one or the other, or one too much, and don't really know how, like we talked about Spartacus before.
Yeah.
Where that had scenes where they chop each other and like a spray of CGI blood comes out. But it's like super detailed and looks really terrible.
Yeah.
And that's, I think, a good example of someone not knowing when not to use CGI for special effects.
Yeah, I feel you, yeah. Yeah, no, like... This actually kind of leads into my point in general, next point, which is the action.
Yes, I was about to.
Yeah, so kind of sway me. The action in the film in general is kind of like it's similar to the CGI, but it kind of maybe it's the exact opposite actually, because it is sparingly used in a way. Like I said, there's like intense action for a while, and then there's a bit of nothing. And then there's an action again at the end.
Yes, yes.
But...
Actually, I wanted to... Because we were talking about the Michael Bay thing, and I had a thing that I wanted to say.
Oh, yeah?
That got lost. I think the difference between...
Sorry. Fucking edit that one out. That was awful.
That's not even the name of the podcast.
I know.
We decided against that one.
I know. We had to change the handles.
Yes. So... Oh shit! What was it? The Michael. Yeah, I think the difference between this and the Michael Bay thing is the pacing in this is better than in a Michael Bay. I feel like in Michael Bay movies, there's always that point where everything just screeches to a halt.
Yeah.
And I never felt like this screeched. There were a few halts in there.
Yeah.
But I don't think it came screeching to them at any point. It was always just, oh, there's a bit of a lull, and then we're back in again, and then there's another little bit of a lull. Whereas in Michael Bay movies, it's like, oh, it's very actiony, and then it's just, pacing is just dead.
Yeah, and you know what you've just made me realize, actually?
Yes.
Is that another big difference between this and a Michael Bay film, and why this kind of worked so much better for me, is because in a Michael Bay film, like, the action sequences are big and outrageous, and there's so much going on that you don't actually know what's going on.
Yes.
Whereas, again, with the cinematography, it was handled in such a way that the action unfolded, and you were constantly aware of where everyone was and what they were up to, and you know what they were trying to do, and like who was fighting who, or who was in close proximity to who, and you know where was there a landmine and where wasn't there.
Yes,
you knew, like you were clued in. It was very easy to follow, which is very important when you don't have subtitles.
Yeah, I followed the actions. Like it was really well directed. Like fair play to this dude.
Yeah, absolutely. Like it was very well shot, and like what I was saying was and it builds on what you were saying, which is that like the action lulled, but never for so long that it became boring. Like even sometimes the action would lull for a little too long, and then there'd be a tiny bit of action, like just something would kind of like, because there's the lull we're referring to is there's a very long period in which his new team of military people are just trudging through this forest. And we obviously didn't know what their objective was, where they were going, what they were up to. We just knew that they were marching through, and
Yeah,
that
yeah.
got fucking dull because that's the character building part where they're talking about their lives or whatever the fuck they're talking about. But every now and then, just a little thing would happen that kind of builds a little suspense, and then it would go back to nothing, and then a little bit of suspense is built, and then it go back to nothing, and then there's the climactic scene.
Yeah, yeah.
You know, which, like, up until that point in the film, the action we'd seen was primarily like gun stuff, and there was some creative gun stuff. The opening sequence, which we already described as quite good, resolves itself with there's a guy, and he's holding this guy hostage, and all of these military officers are surrounding him, but
Yes.
they can't shoot at him because he's hidden behind this wall, and he's got a gun against this other guy's head, his hostage's head.
Yes.
And no one can get a clear shot at him. And the fucking wolf warrior
Yeah.
is on a ledge somewhere, and he's like got a sniper, and he's trying to get a clear shot at him, but he's behind the wall. So what he does is he fires 3 shots into the exact same spot in the wall, and the third shot fires through the wall and into your man's head.
Yeah.
And takes him down.
It's it's a neat little.
It's a really creative
Yeah,
solution
yeah.
to the scene, and that's the instance you're talking about, in
And they
which it
even-
zooms in on the the gun, the barrel of the gun,
Yes.
and you see the bullet, and it looks terrible. It looked awful, but the scene was so creative and satisfying that I didn't give a shit.
Yeah, yeah.
And it has been proven time and time again on this podcast that I have a major problem with shoddy special effects.
Yes.
But this was handled in such a way that I was kept entertained, and so how could I have a problem with it?
It's interesting because they even go as far as to go full circle with that.
Yes, they
Where
do.
later on in the movie, he's hidden behind something and someone's shooting sniper shots into that to get at him, and it's
Yeah.
like stuff like that. You're like, wow, that's actually really cool that you thought of this creative thing, but then you went back to it and you like brought the whole thing full circle.
Yeah, no
and
wonder
was-
it took 14 scripts to get it right.
No, but like I think the thing with this movie is this is a really generic phrase, but it has a lot of heart.
It does.
You know
And
what
the
I
main
mean? You
character has
feel
a
like-
lot of heart, and it's kind of replicated in the actual
Yeah.
filmmaking process.
And
maybe.
I think
I
that's
kinda
helped
get
by the fact that the main character is also the director.
the director. Yeah,
But you feel like everyone working on this movie actually enjoyed working on it.
yeah, and
And-
even like the credits was like
Yeah, yeah.
had like a little thing, which a lot of films do. That's just showing you them planning out the fight choreography and stuff, and the choreography of the explosions. And we didn't see it because we were in kind of a rush to get things going. But I genuinely was interested in just sitting there and watching
Yeah,
that
yeah.
because it is a very well constructed film, and clearly everyone gave it their all.
Yeah,
Everyone
yeah.
went there being
That's
like,
what I
we
mean by it
want
has
this.
heart,
Yeah,
like-
exactly. Everyone went there being like, we want this to look fucking dope.
I feel like passion went into this movie, you know?
Yeah.
So they weren't just making this because they were like, this will make a lot of money. Wu Jing was like, I have a movie that I really want to make,
Yeah.
and I'm going to make it the best I can make it.
Yeah.
And it even kind of semi-shoddy special effects aside, it's super endearing. And you look past that because it's just, he does tons of really, there's an action scene maybe towards the second end of the second third of the movie, where instead of, usually in these movies, it's we have to kill all the guys over there and they're trying to kill us. But instead of that, it was one of our guys has been shot, but we're all pinned down by a sniper. We have to get that guy, but if we try, they're going to shoot us.
Yeah.
And there's no shooting going back and forth except from the enemies
Yeah.
while they're trying to figure out getting to this guy. And there's a lot of dialogue, but they do a really good job of, like, I understood everything that was happening in that scene without any dialogue.
Yeah, because no words were needed. It was,
Yeah,
the
yeah.
the situation was very clear, and again, a really creative solution was offered because the way that they resolve that
Yes.
is by what they decide to do is they shoot continuously, all of them, at this
They
one
open
tree.
fire on a tree. Yeah.
Until the tree falls over and provides cover.
Yeah.
And then Wolf Warrior runs out and grabs your man and drags him to safety.
Yeah.
And it's I think not only is it like it's I think what's cool about this film is that it's a great a story of a good hero and a powerful man who doesn't necessarily always just go in guns blazing.
Yeah,
He
yeah.
knows when
He's
to take a
got-
step back, think about the situation, and react accordingly, plan things out, you know? Like, we get that from him from the very start when he fires the 3 shots into the wall, and then we get it when they're, because that scene is quite long, where they're just lying there discussing it, being like, what the fuck are we gonna do here? And eventually they come up with a tree idea, and it works.
Yeah.
You know?
Can we get into spoilers, maybe?
I think we're pretty sure we're already into spoilers.
No, because I wanted
said
to talk
spoilers ages ago.
your point there about this guy.
Yeah.
And how he's so if before we get into because I'm about to go into like the fucking final spoilers of this, so just before we do that, Dara, would you recommend this movie?
Yeah, I would actually. I genuinely would. It's a good action film. It's quite entertaining.
Yeah.
If you're properly paying attention to it, I'd say you'd get a kick out of the action sequences in this film. They keep you on your toes.
I went into this movie expecting us to watch a dumb action movie that we could make fun of.
Yeah.
Ended up actually genuinely quite liking this movie a lot.
Right.
And that's always a really nice thing to do.
Yeah.
That's always really fun.
Nice to bring a positive vibe to the podcast every now and then.
So at the end of the movie, he's fighting this guy.
Mm-hmm. Oh yeah, the English dude.
The English dude.
Yeah.
They're fighting each other. What are you doing?
Are
you about to lie down on the couch like I'm your fucking therapist?
I've been planning it for a while, man. I've been moving towards this. I think I'm gonna position this just here.
So, yeah, he's fighting this dude, and it's interesting because you talked about his. He doesn't go in guns blazing necessarily, and this is how he defeats the main dude. The dude's got a knife to his neck, and he doesn't overpower him or anything. He just moves it up so that it stabs the bad guy behind him.
Yeah.
Do you remember this?
Yes, I do. Yeah, he
I kind of explained it poorly.
He basically the knife is up against his neck, and your man is behind him, like tucked in close. And your man is about to just slit his neck, and he like forces your man's hand up and drives the blade through his captor's neck, the English guy's neck.
Yeah,
and again, it's a creative solution to the problem. And that whole end bit in general is fantastic because after like an entire film of like military kind of proceedings and that military warfare, which can get dull, just people firing at each other from afar, it becomes towards the end there's a point where he kind of removes his pack and becomes the wolf warrior, and he just he's bouncing around, he's fucking flying. He essentially comes to the conclusion that like marching around in camouflage and slowly taking everyone out one by one is not going to work, and he's going to have to be upfront with this. And so he removes his pack and he starts bounding around the place, and he takes everyone out one by one, and then it ends up with this final battle between him and the English guy, and he's like, at first it's a firefight, as you said. That kind of bit goes on for a little too long, and there's a bit where you're like, oh, is this going to be it? But even the firefight to a point is quite interesting because they're really, really close to each other. Basically, the English guy is like down, like in like a pit of sand. Yeah. And the wolf warrior is up on top of a little hill. Yeah. And there's just a tiny bit of the hill that is dividing them, and they're quite close to each other, and they're just firing. And that little bit of hill is just getting in the way.
In the hopes that one of their bullets will go through and hit the other guy.
Yeah, exactly. And then finally, the bit of hill that is there comes apart and falls because it's been fired at so much. And Wolf Warrior is just left standing there with your man pointing the gun up at him. And Wolf Warrior just stands there ready and just smiles at your man. And your man pulls the trigger and he's run out of ammo. Yeah. And Wolf Warrior then like runs down, and then he like spins round and like catches him with a kick, and then it just becomes this really well choreographed hand-to-hand combat
and
scene.
Knife fight as well.
Yeah, and knife fight. Knives, yeah, both of them pull out knives. It went above and beyond with the action. You know, it went out really of its way to keep it fresh at all times, which I thought I really appreciated in this film. Yeah.
Really good movie.
Yeah, very much enjoyed it. We both have third points, but I feel like we've actually spoken about this quite a bit.
My points were just two minor negatives.
Okay, hit me.
Which the score, like the musical score, kind of generic.
kinda nothing.
It's
It's
super
kinda
generic.
nothing, yeah,
Nothing going on there.
Yeah, it was just
Um,
swelling orchestra music.
Yeah, yeah.
Whatever you're imagining in your head would accompany like a fucking war film. That's what it
Yeah,
is.
yeah.
Yeah.
Super generic, and the color.
Yeah, it
The
was
film
very
is very
fucking-
desaturated. I think.
Yeah, it was very grey. But you see, I think a big part of that is because it was a lot of it was filmed outside in that forest.
Yeah, but I
And
feel
at all times-
like you could have made that forest more vibrant.
You
looking.
definitely could have, but at all times I noticed that the sky above them, beyond all the trees, was very grey. And I'd say that it was just unfortunately enough filmed when the
Yeah.
sun wasn't out. Like I'd say if the sun was out, it would have been super vibrant with all those colors, all that greenery and everything.
No, because I felt like it had been digitally desaturated
Yeah,
at some point.
maybe.
It looked
as
like it
a,
had
as
been.
like a fucking, the cold grey tone of war.
Yeah,
That kind of bullshit. Yeah, maybe. You never know.
yeah, like grey military kind of.
Yeah, it was a little bit lifeless. It did, and it was kind of, especially during the meandering talky bits. It was hard for us with no dialogue to keep invested in something that wasn't very visually stimulating. But again, then it compensated for that with loads of visual stimulation with the fight scenes and stuff. So
Yeah.
I would agree with you that would definitely be a downside to this film. Like it's no
But it's-
Amelie, but
It's a very minor downside.
Yeah,
That's
yeah.
why I was like, I only have two like slight negatives of
yeah.
mine.
Well, I'll just bring it up because you brought yours up. My only other point was the story, and essentially, anytime I ever bring up the story on this podcast, my point is I don't know what the story was.
It seemed
and
minimal.
It seemed minimal. It
Yeah.
definitely did seem minimal. I think that from what I could gather, this film is more about the character of the Wolf Warrior, and
we don't even know his
we don't know
fucking
his name.
Yeah.
We have no idea what his name is, but he looks a little bit like Joseph Gordon-Levitt.
A little bit, yeah. He looks like
yeah.
a Chinese Joseph Gordon-Levitt. Yeah.
Joseph Gordon-Levitt looks a bit like a Chinese Joseph Gordon-Levitt.
Yeah, I can see it.
Yeah,
I can see it. Yeah.
But yes, like so the film is very clearly more so about him and his journey, and his heart and his soul, rather than any kind of overarching story. There's a good bit of how do I put this delicately? Nationalism.
There's a little bit of nationalism.
Yeah.
I think this is a proud Chinese
Yes.
movie.
We fight for China, man.
We fight
We
for
fight
China.
for
That's what
China.
his badge says.
Yeah,
we
all
fight
of them,
for
all
China.
the people in his troop had we.
So
fight
yeah,
for
this is
China.
I think this was a movie about China, about Chinese army men made by a very proud Chinese man.
Yeah, and the overarching villain is not only English speaking; he is just an Englishman.
I think one of the overarching villains is Japanese as well. But
Yeah,
the less said
for
about
sure.
that, the better.
But actually, you know what? I'm glad you brought him up. He was fucking dope. I loved him because he didn't really do much.
yeah,
But one thing he did do was in his opening scene, he gets arrested and he's being led out of his mansion in handcuffs, and then he takes out a cigar and puts it in his mouth, and before he lights it, his like trained private army emerge from the greenery surrounding his mansion and just open fire on all of the officers who are arresting him. And there's explosions going off, cars are blowing up inches from his face, and this man's just standing there lighting his cigar, puffing away on it with his hands cuffed.
yeah.
He's just this old ass Japanese man, and I was like, this guy is a good villain. He's just a badass character, and that's all you're really looking for in an action film like this, isn't it? Like just a badass main villain. He doesn't. I don't think they have to have like the motives of them aren't that important. You know.
Yeah.
They were his motives weren't important to me. I bet he had some. Don't care what they were. You know. I just thought he was cool.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So that's Wolf Warrior, a
Yeah.
movie full of surprises.
Yeah. Yeah. Very surprising classic, I would say.
Classic, yeah.
Classic.
I think that
Another translation lost classic.
that's going to be one I remember for a while.
Yeah. Same, man. Yeah.
Well, I suppose it's time to get into emails.
Yeah. Yeah.
But before that, I'm going to take a pee break. Oh
Dope.
no.
I'm gonna get some water. Woo. Wait.
Chinese guy?
I don't think that even sounded like anything.
Don't just say emails.
Emails.
Better and better every week, Brian.
What am I doing? Take the guitar. I was about to stop the recording for some reason. All
Now
right.
that I'm finished recording the email, Finn.
That's all we need.
Now to just edit and mix it. Add some reverb. Bring the bass
Make
up.
it backwards. All right, so I'm going in order of when we got these.
Finn, you're going to have to send your email again. We didn't get it. Don't know who you sent it to. Not us. Sorry about that. I'm real disappointed by it because I became aware of this email that Finn has sent us like 2 weeks ago, and I have not gotten to read it yet, and I was really looking forward to it. And yeah, Brian checked today, and it's not in our...
There is no email from Finn here.
Yeah, check junk. Check spam. Maybe Finn counts as spam.
That's possible, dude.
Yeah. Is his name still Sex Machine Finn? No, I don't think it is. Because that could have sounded... Could have been a bit botty.
No, I'm not.
No sign of it. Soz Finn. Well, I was looking forward to that one. Please do send it in.
Oh, yeah, he is in the spam.
Is he?
Why is he in spam?
Why the fuck wouldn't he be? I'm sorry, Finn. I laughed too hard at that. That
is hilarious. Why is this message in spam? According to our filters, this message is likely to be spam.
I'm excited to hear the content now. Don't peruse it beforehand. Just give it a read. Come on.
You gotta peruse what Finn says. Because I don't want to get in trouble for saying it.
Psycho Finn.
So here's Finn. He says in all caps as his subject line, "Time has come again. Hi, it is I, the main one, as most people know me best. Remember my last email? Ha ha ha. What a classic. Okay, I'm going to say some things now. 1. If one of you was dicking down the other one, which would be catching that hot dick in the keister?" No comment. I'm not.
Oh, I'll happily comment on that. I have a strict rule, which is that if I look, I don't want to fuck a man. I have no desire to fuck a man.
It's not your cup of tea?
No, but if I were to fuck a man, I would fuck a man. I'm not getting fucked by anybody.
Okay, you're going. Yeah, that's fair. That seems to be a pretty standard,
common kind of practice. Yeah,
standard. Yeah. I think that's pretty fair. You want to keep doing what you're like.
Yeah, that's what I've been practicing. Do you know? I've gotten pretty good at the thrust. I don't know. Move on. What's this next thing?
I'm skipping number 2 because we're not doing a duet cover of the theme from Titanic because our... Hi guys, Brian from the future here. At this point, Dara sings a really fantastic rendition of that song. It brought me to tears, personally, and I think it would have brought all of you to tears as well. However, we got a copyright claim, so yeah, gotta edit this part out. Anyway, I'm gonna leave now because it's getting kind of awkward, and enjoy the rest of the episode. I've seen it happen to other videos where it's like a really shitty version.
No one's ever going to find this. Who is going to report it?
It's bots.
Okay, okay, moving on. That's not enough to fucking take it down over. We will sue.
I'm not doing 3.
What's 3? You read it out. You have to at least read it out.
I'm not reading it out.
Oh, then I'll read it out. No, let me see. I'll read it out.
4.
No, let me see. No, I'm not letting it not be read out. Come on. Worst religion? Question mark. Honestly, even if you fear death, not answering it. But I'll read it out. We're not going to comment on what we think the worst religion. No, actually, Scientology. Move on.
Oh yeah, yeah. Okay, good, great. In one of your recent episodes, you said Barry plays a good Jew. Well, that brings to mind this question: what the fuck is a good Jew? No comment.
I'll tell you what a bad Jew is.
No,
no, that's a joke. No, when I say he plays a good Jew, I mean that he plays a Jewish person well. Yes. And it's probably just because of all of the people I have met in Ireland, Barry has the most American accent, which makes it slightly more likely that he could be Jewish.
Yes.
Not much more, but slightly. He's also got jet black hair. I don't know if that's really a thing.
Number 5, please record the sound of you peeing and introduce it as a new segment for your show.
I mean, we could introduce it as like a theme for, I don't know.
Just have it over the guitar theme?
Kind of sounds like a lot of work. No to that one. No, sorry, Finn.
Oh my God.
What?
I have no more numbered things to say, but I will say this. Imagine yourself on a sunny beach. There I am in front of you, but kind of far away, and I'm not wearing anything at all. My dick is swinging in the wind, making you think, does mine swing like that? I don't think it does. Sad face. You start touching yourself.
Oh
You're disappointed with what you find. You think you'll get me back by challenging me to a swimming race in the sea, but I immediately outswim you, leaving your pathetic splashes long behind me. I get so far away I can't hear your screams as you're viciously eaten by a team of sharks. That's the end of the. That's
the end of the email. Doesn't sign off. That's it. Okay, cool. Dope. Thanks for that, Psycho Finn. Preserving your status as Psycho Finn.
Yes.
Yeah, always good to get you to chime in. Yeah.
That's like a whole segment of that podcast where I'm just sweating. Every new line is a fresh hell.
Yeah.
Thank you for that, Finn, though.
Yes,
that was
thank
very
you.
funny.
It was exciting, riveting.
You always... He's a funny guy.
Yeah. Keeps it fresh.
So
no one else sends emails like that, you know? Yeah. Everyone else says goodbye. Anyway, come on, continue. What's next?
Next is Barry Neenan.
Barry Neenan. A word from Barry, ladies and gentlemen.
Ironic Snap.
Barry Ironic Snap Neenan.
I don't know if we're supposed to say his full name.
Yeah. Whatever.
I might bleep that.
Yeah, maybe do. Maybe don't. Who cares? I had a conversation with Barry during the week on Facebook, and it turns out we have not conversed on Facebook in 4 years.
Yeah, right.
And he brought that to my attention. I wouldn't have noticed otherwise. But yeah, it was cool to talk to you, Barry.
Barry sent me a message, and I gave him a thumbs up react because I was in the middle of like hauling shit.
No, go on.
I had to haul like compost.
There
That's
you
big
go.
bags of compost. And I was like, thanks, Barry, for the message. I'll get back to this sometime.
Did you get back to it?
I didn't.
No. Get back to it now.
You never get back
He saw
to
it, man.
When
He
you
saw
ever
it. He
get back to
reacted. That's all you need.
Hiya. Oh, shit. I forgot. I told you about the subject line of this at the start. Of
Yeah. What is it? Yeah.
Alibaba dies in Infinity War. I like that.
Thank God. Sorry, go on.
Hiya. Just chiming in to say Brian is absolutely right in saying that nobody cares about Vision. It is one of Infinity War's biggest failings as a story that it thinks the audience cares about Vision at all, let alone to such an extent, in brackets, vague spoilers, I suppose, but the film will be out nearly a month by the time this is read out. Yeah, that is vague spoilers, I guess, but it's fine. Yeah. Everyone who's going to see it has seen it by now.
Yeah. Like if
anyone who hasn't seen it by now and is worried about spoilers, you're full of shit.
Yeah, exactly.
You should have seen it.
Yeah. It's
I haven't seen
fault.
it.
If you've managed,
I don't care about spoilers.
If you've managed to find yourself on this corner of the internet and at this point in this video,
hit subscribe.
Please. Give us a like. Find us on Facebook.
Can I get Translation Lost podcast's general opinion on Thanos? I've heard a lot of praise for him, but frankly, I don't think he measures up against recent greats like Killmonger or Michael Keaton. Who's Killmonger?
Killmonger is the villain in Black Panther.
Yes.
Michael B. Jordan plays him. He's very, very good, and not just because he's incredibly sexy.
Unfortunately, I have not seen Black Panther, Infinity War, or Spider-Man Homecoming.
Right, Barry, I'm going to sidetrack from your question for just a second. We'll get back to it. Black Panther's not that good. It's not as good as people are making it out to be. It's a pretty good film. It's not better than a lot of Marvel films. Like, it is. Yeah. It's more. Black Panther is a Wonder Woman all over again. It's a much more important film than it is a good film. You want to know something? There's already a good black superhero film, as Joe Rogan pointed out. It's fucking Blade.
As Joe Rogan? Yeah. Blade is a terrible movie.
No, but what I mean is, it doesn't hold. It definitely doesn't hold. No, it's not. But what I'm saying is, it doesn't hold. But the point of Blade, and the reason it's like a decent comparison, is because it's like, well, in the 90s, this isn't even my opinion, but it was given to me by Joe Rogan, and I agreed with it. In the 90s, Blade was just Wesley Snipes, and no one batted an eyelid. No one was like, oh my god, a black superhero. They were just like, oh cool, Wesley Snipes is playing Blade, that's going to be dope. And then they went to see it and everyone enjoyed it. Whereas now it's like, oh my god, it's a really big deal. And don't get me wrong, it is a big deal that it's a black superhero because it's in the Marvel universe and it's the 17th, maybe even 18th film, and it took them that long to make a main character a dude. They still haven't made a main character a woman.
It's not just that it's like big because it's a black superhero. Because like Blade is like the only black character in that movie. pretty
Yeah,
much.
that's true. Okay. Look,
In Black
this
Panther,
kind of-
it is a cast. It is a extremely diverse cast. A young black director,
Yeah.
like getting a shot at a Marvel movie
Yeah, that's cool.
instead of
That's
Joss
cool. I'll
fucking
give you
Whedon
that.
again. Or
Yeah, fuck yeah. I'll give you that.
You know,
Absolutely.
I think Black Panther is a way more important movie.
Yeah, yeah.
than-
Okay. Look, discount the Blade thing because, like I said, that wasn't even
That was a
my.
joke.
Yeah,
It's
it was
also a joke,
Yeah,
yeah.
I kind of sidetracked it. I kind of got more into it than I meant to. My personal opinion on Black Panther is that it's like the CGI in it is in places not great.
I've
think,
heard that, yeah.
I think that the main character as a superhero himself has some flaws in that he's a bit too powerful and he's not that interesting.
I liked him in Civil War.
I liked him
he
in
had a
Civil
good arc in
War,
Civil
and
War.
look, I liked him in this, in a way, but to be honest, I actually more enjoyed. There's some scenes where he's like fighting as himself in like a kind of a very traditional manner, a kind of a tribal kind of traditional manner. And I
Yes,
found
yes,
those
I've
scenes to
seen-
be more interesting than the scenes where he was fighting as Black Panther because he's a bit more vulnerable. And when he's in that suit, like they introduce it as a plot element that he can like reverberate all of the. He basically absorbs shocks and blows, and then he harnesses the power from them, and then he can
okay.
exert it.
That's cool.
Right, it's cool, but it's also like a game-breaking
Yeah,
element
it's a
because
bit-
how the fuck is anyone supposed to defend against that? He's not in danger at any point in the film, and the humor is not as good as a lot of the other Marvel. Don't get me wrong, like I enjoyed the film, I just don't like everyone is talking, and I didn't mind. Everyone's talking about how it's a great film and it's an amazing film, and everyone's making a big deal of it. I didn't mind that. It's just that I didn't mind it because, like I say, I recognize that it is a big milestone.
Yeah, yeah.
But what kind of honestly, the thing that kind of made me annoyed about it was the fact that I watched the honest trailer for it, and a lot of these points that I'm making weren't brought up. They are full of praise for it. They they make a couple of small
I think
jokes.
Honest Trailers is
Yeah,
trash, to be honest.
Yeah, it has deteriorated.
Didn't one of the guys
massively.
in that get like
Yeah,
caught for
yes, he
real
did.
bad shit?
The guy who created it actually, but he got immediately sacked. Yeah, he
Yeah.
was a
Was this
bad
before
dude.
or after that? When was that? That was like not too long ago, I think.
No, this
Yeah.
was during the whole when everyone was getting outed for being a dirty creep.
Good.
Yeah.
Let's continue
Yeah.
to out people who are terrible humans.
Yeah, I can't even remember his name. It was Andy something, but it's good because no one should remember his name because fuck that guy.
Yeah.
But I watched it, but it just bothered me that I was like, you just at least
You feel
acknowledge
like-
the fact because like at the end of the video, there's a bit where they're just sucking that movie's dick so hard. They're talking about how like it's an incredible film and it's an amazing experience, and I'm like, you're supposed to be being honest. Just admit that it's a good film.
You kind
It's
of
not
feel
a
like you
great
have
film.
to love this movie
Yeah, like or like
because
people
it's
are
an
implying-
important.
Yeah,
Because
exactly.
that's not. We're not saying that it's not an important movie.
Yeah, no, I'm not
But
disputing that.
We can believe that it's an important movie while still saying that it's not
A great movie.
a great movie. Yeah.
Like and like I say, it's a good movie,
Yeah.
but it's not a great movie. You know?
I think most Marvel movies are good movies, but
yeah,
not great movies.
Exactly. That's the thing. That's the thing. This one isn't even an exception.
Yeah.
Ant-Man is a
Anyway, we've
decent
been on
movie.
this for
we
fucking
have. Back
long.
to your email, Barry. I'm so sorry for that. That was a real tangent.
Thanks as well for the birthday messages. I had a good time, which I am willing to attribute to being ominously threatened. Seemed to do the trick. I knew mine would. Remember for Barry's birthday, I put a picture on his Facebook of a man with a baseball bat in his underwear, and I said, "Have a happy birthday, or else."
Yeah, I do
And it
think I saw
worked.
that, actually.
Barry had a happy birthday.
Nice. Awesome.
And I will take all of the blame for that. Blame? What's good blame?
Credit.
Credit. Hey, man.
I can't think of words all the time. I can't talk. What was Barry's actual question? He asked a question,
Oh, it was...
and then I completely derailed
So
it.
sorry, Barry.
I'm sorry. It was my fault.
What is the general opinion on Thanos?
Yes, that's an interesting question. I'm glad we got back to this. Because you
God.
haven't seen Avengers Infinity War.
I have only seen Thanos at the end of Guardians of the Galaxy.
Yeah, he's not even in the end of it. Okay. Glad you brought Guardians of the Galaxy up, right? Here's the thing about Thanos, is that his first real reveal was in Guardians of the Galaxy, because at the
Yes.
end of Avengers, he's just there smirking, and That's it. That's all you get of him. But then he's revealed in Guardians of the Galaxy.
Guardians of the Galaxy is the one where he's like, fine, I'll do it myself. Or is that
I think that's
Winter
actually
Soldier?
at the end of... I don't know. Who cares? But it's at the end of... But no, Guardians of the Galaxy is the one where he's just hovering in a big fucking chair, doing nothing.
That's where he says, I'll do
He
it
might,
myself.
I think he might well do it at the very end of the film.
I thought that was it.
The point is it's an incredibly... It's a very, very unflattering reveal.
Yeah.
He seems so lazy. Like he just seems like this tyrannical god who just sits in his fucking big hovering throne and gives orders to people far less capable than him. Even though he is very confident in the fact that he can just get the job done himself.
The current, the amount of movies that there are, they're far less competent than him.
Yeah.
Because anytime they seem to do anything, it always fails.
Yeah. And then he shows up in Infinity War, right?
Yeah.
And it's like, okay, now, here he goes. He's doing it himself, like he said he would, right? But first of all, his design has changed drastically, and I take issue with that because he's supposed to be thousands of years old, so like he wouldn't have aged that much in the short space of time.
I just think that it's because they needed Josh Brolin to act.
Yeah.
They had to make his face because he's very cartoonish in like the earlier reveals, and like he's a big CGI man. But they needed like actual acting on him because, from what I know of Infinity War, and I know most of the plot by now, but I haven't seen it, so I can't really say anything about the movie. But from what I heard, like his story in that is quite emotional, and there's like quite a few bits that require him to be able to act with his face.
Yeah, I would agree that his story.
I feel like that's why his face looks different.
Yeah. I feel you, but like the story that is. They try to make it really emotional, and that they touch on some good moments. But overall, I think he's a bit underwhelming. I think he boasts relentlessly throughout the film about the incalculable, unimaginable power that he wields, even before he's collected all of the stones. When he's only got like 2, he's like, "Oh, I'm the most powerful being in the universe already," or whatever, right? But then he just doesn't wipe everyone out immediately, which he easily could do. And it's like, bro, what the fuck you even do? Like, it becomes then a question of like, is this supposed to be a character trait where he wants a good fight, even though he could just end it instantaneously if he wants to? He wants there to be some challenge involved.
That's the thing, though. Like the bad guy. That's the you find this a lot. You find this in a lot of stuff. You find it in anime, actually, quite recently. I've watched a few that have had this problem, where it's like, my power is immeasurable. I can do anything I want, but we're going to have fisticuffs anyway. And, like, really, there's no way around that because you need to have a movie.
Yeah, but no, there is a way around that. Don't give them that much fucking power.
Yeah, but also I feel like that's integral to the character.
It's integral to the character in Infinity War, but I think that they could have... all right, look, I'm gonna get a little bit detailed with Infinity War. It's not a big spoiler, but and we already did say spoilers, but I'm just gonna say spoilers again, right? This is something that happens right at the very, very start of the film.
If it happens right at the very start of the film, it
doesn't really matter.
Everyone who's seen it has seen it.
Yeah, exactly.
Just skip ahead a few minutes.
Yeah.
If you're worried.
Basically, he starts off the film with 2 stones, or he has just gotten the second stone. They could have even maybe started the film off with him getting the first stone, so that we could see that he is a powerful person, or a powerful whatever alien, I guess, without the gauntlet, without all the stones, because the only impression we ever get of him is he's this guy with a magic glove.
Yeah,
you know, and then the power becomes the fucking glove and not him. As soon as they take it off of him, he's nothing, as far as we're concerned as an audience, because we haven't seen any evidence of the contrary.
I assume without the glove, he's just as formidable, right?
Well, yeah, that's the idea. That's supposed to be the idea. He's supposed to be... and look, like, they do give the impression that he's very powerful, because, like, the Avengers do give him their all, and he's very tall, and he's large, and he's imposing, and it does take a lot of work just to get one scratch into him. So he's clearly tough. But I still maintain that if he didn't have a magical glove that could do whatever the fuck he wanted, that he wouldn't be that big a threat. You know?
It would be like maybe Ultron levels.
Yeah, not even Ultron can like instantly teleport his mind across the world via the internet into a different robot and build himself anew.
That's true.
And then he can build millions of himself, and he can use all of them to attack at once. Thanos is a guy, and if you get that glove off him, he's just a guy. And there's loads of you, and he's a tough guy, but there's loads of you. There's so many fucking superheroes in that world now. That it's like, well, who the fuck is this guy? How tough could he possibly be? And like the hench people he has, they're actually quite, well, one of them in particular. The others are kind of nothing, but one of them is quite interesting, and a lot is done with him, and he's made out to be quite threatening. But again, Thanos just kind of seems a bit. I've used this word to describe the film earlier, but I think it fits Thanos as well. A bit meandering. He's kind of strolling across the universe, wiping out half of all life.
Yeah.
I don't know. I feel like, and like I said, like they try to give the character a lot of emotional depth. I feel like the attempt lands, but I also don't think it's enough to humanize such a monstrous character. I don't think that they put enough work in. Like, I definitely think the work they put in, it shows, but I don't think there was enough of it. You know?
All right, I think
I've definitely filled the quote on talking about that. I'm sorry for rambling so much. Thank you very much for the Barry.
Thank you for the Barry.
Thanks for the Barry, for the bit of Barry there.
So now we've got another email from
because we are the most popular podcast.
The most popular podcast of all time, really.
Yeah, well, yeah. Fuck you, Ricky Gervais.
I mean, sure.
Yeah.
Anyway.
Just anyway. Yeah. Have you seen his stand-up special?
It's probably terrible.
I hear it's terrible. I haven't seen it, but I hear that it's just a bunch of
assumed
shitty
it was terrible.
stories. Anyway, go on.
Okay. The subject. This is from Oshin. The subject is always me, the most worthy of subjects. Sup, fam. Most highly honored and decorated favorite fan of the show, Oshin here. I know last time I didn't send an email, and it was presumed it was because I was too busy at college. This is partially true. Every time I went to send an email, I thought to myself, not much has happened yet. Maybe I'll wait to send them an email when I form opinions and ideas about the things that will happen to me this week. And then nothing fucking happened, and it was a Sunday. My bad. Gotta thank Brian and Ali for letting me stay in theirs over the week. You guys are thoughtful and kind, and I heart you both. I'm terrible at finding somewhere to stay before social events, and I'm always sure it'll work out. And in fairness, it always have. Also, shout out to Ali's mother, who gave me directions out of the estate in the morning. You may think I did not need those directions, but the amount of times I have wandered, slightly hungover, through labyrinths of similar houses, always sensing the freedom of the main road, but never able to find it. Yeah, we had a night, and it just... Beautiful. That was beautiful, yeah, that was fantastic.
Very well worded, Hushin. Reminds me of Finn's old estate.
Reminds me of a little story I know about Finn, where he walked around the same block of houses for 3 hours, lost one morning. So there's a little shout out to... There's
Psycho Finn.
Little call out there.
Yeah, we had a good night there last Saturday in
and Oshin wasn't sure where he was.
It was fantastic.
Oshin wasn't sure where he was staying, so he...
Yeah, we actually grabbed a selfie with Oshin on my phone because we were all sitting on the bed together. We were like, look at this, the podcast crew.
Yeah.
So maybe we'll put that up on the Twitter or something.
Somewhere,
yeah. Maybe we'll put it up right here. It's on the screen. Who knows? It might be on the screen.
Oh my God, you're going to make me do this again?
Well, no, because I said who knows, it might be. So we have left it up in the air.
Yeah, okay.
we have a way out.
Write down 142 on that piece of paper.
We'll see how we feel.
See how I feel. This week I have a recommendation. A new anime to Netflix called Agretsuko. It follows a red panda named Retsuko. She's an accountant at an office and has to put up with annoying work colleagues and a sexist boss, and lets off steam through the art of singing death metal when she's alone. It's so good, I highly recommend. I've been hearing a lot about Agretsuko at the moment. You've probably seen it if you've been on Netflix.
No.
It's like a cutesy little looking panda kind of thing.
No.
It's apparently very good.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. Interesting. As I mentioned earlier, I watched One Punch Man and I watched that fucking Disastrous Life of Psyche K thing. So yeah, I might give that a go if it's on Netflix. Why the fuck not?
Oh my God. Dara's gonna become a weeb.
Definitely not gonna happen. Thank you very much.
This is what the podcast is all about.
Then I would lose the right. I would lose a significant portion of my right to make fun of you.
Yeah, see, this has all been an elaborate ploy. The podcast, everything.
Slowly turn me into
get you into anime so that you can't make fun of me anymore.
It's never gonna happen, unfortunately. I cherish the time. I cherish the ability to insult you far too greatly. I need a release of some kind, and you are my release.
I'll definitely check out Aigretsuko at some point.
Yeah, I probably will too. Hopefully, maybe we'll both have seen it by next time.
Possibly. We've seen maybe 1 or 2 episodes.
Yeah.
It's on my list. You know when you have a list that just keeps getting bigger?
Yes.
Yeah. Anyway, love the podcast. Love you both. See you soon, Oshin.
That's how he signs off every email, and I really like it.
It's really nice.
Yeah, it's really lovely.
Like, genuinely,
we love
really
you
nice.
too.
We do love Oshin too.
Yeah, man. Delighted to hear from you as always. We might be hearing a little more from Oshin at some point soon. Oh, things are happening. Sizzling away. Never going anywhere.
That's just gonna sound like white noise.
Yes, it is. Yeah, I like the look of the wave though.
Yeah.
So it's your bullshit this week.
Yeah.
Do you remember that?
It's not. It's yours.
No, it's not. It's yours because last week was supposed to be yours, and then I did it because you didn't have anything. You're a dope. Brian's a fucking dope. I
have bullshit. I have a little bit of bullshit.
Okay, hit us.
You're not gonna do the song or?
Oh shit, that's right.
God damn it.
Oh yeah, I'm the one who's not prepared. Okay. Bullshit from Brian, hair like a lion, a curly haired lion. Bullshit from Brian, no I'm not lying, time for bullshit from Brian. Halfway through that, I remembered that your parents were asleep, and then I tried to be a little quieter, and then I missed the high note. Alright, do your thing. What's your bullshit?
Oh yeah. E3 is coming up.
Oh yes, so it is. Yeah,
the big games expo that I watch every year. I get the bingo card. There's bingo cards that get circulated at the start.
Of course, yeah.
Every time something gets scratched off on the bingo card, you take a shot.
Nice.
And that's how you make E3 fun. Also, the fact that they're announcing new games and like showing off stuff, that's also quite fun.
Well, you see, I don't give a shit about alcohol or video games.
Yeah.
So this is nothing.
I love both.
Yeah.
They're
passionately.
That's my 2 hobbies. Yeah. Alcohol and video games.
He's not joking. No, he's
totally joking. Yeah. So the usual thing happened where Walmart in America, or this is Walmart Canada actually did this, gets all the titles that are going to be announced every year.
In advance, like?
In advance, so they can put them up when they get announced on their store for pre-orders. Except they put them up
early? They leaked them?
Maybe a month early. Or some of them anyway. And some of them, like, I'm sure they give them, like, kind of maybe bend the truth a bit on what they're getting and throw in a few fake ones in there that don't go up.
Yeah.
In order, just in case for this stuff. But it happens every fucking year. Every fucking year.
Is it always Walmart?
It's usually Walmart or something like that. Like, throw everything out there a month early and it's like, oh, all the surprise is gone. Yeah.
I bet that's a part of it, though. I bet, I don't know. Maybe I'm just skeptical and cynical, but I bet that they're like, oh, you know, we'll actually announce it at E3, but we'll hint that it's coming by having leaking. Walmart accidentally put it up, and then people will be waiting for it, and they'll watch E3 because they'll be like, I want to see if it happens, and then it'll happen, and people will be excited.
I prefer watching a thing, and then the trailer, like, cold opens, and it's like the trailer is happening, and you're watching it, and you're like, oh my god, is this thing sequel, or is this, like, you know, like, one of the games was Just Cause 4 was leaked. I don't know if that's actually happening. That might be a fake one. I'm pretty confident that they're probably going to make a Just Cause 4, so maybe. But I would have liked to go in there and see a new trailer open up from the start. Yeah. And be like, oh my god, is that fucking Just Cause? Yeah. Is this a new Just Cause? And then wait for the title to drop in. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I feel you. Yeah. No, that's definitely the better way of doing it. But, like, you so rarely get that these days. Like, for example, this film doesn't really bother me so much. I'm not very interested in it. But did you see the trailer for Venom that came out a couple of weeks ago?
Of course I didn't.
Yeah, like that trailer came out, right? And I found out that trailer had come out because I saw a screenshot of Venom on Facebook, and it was the first time I'd seen the character design, and I was looking at it and I was like, okay, so the trailer's out. This is what Venom looks like. And then I watched the trailer, and it wasn't very good. And the very last shot is the screenshot I saw, and it's supposed to be like a reveal of the suit.
Yeah.
It was like, okay, now I just watched a shit trailer, and I already knew what the reveal was.
I just don't watch trailers anymore.
Yeah. Especially
If I ever think I'm gonna watch a movie, I'll just watch the movie, and
yeah.
I don't need a fucking. I like.
Don't need hype.
It's just a couple of little clips from the movie out of context, and often edited to be something they're not. You know what I mean? Like anytime there's a quip in one of those things, it's never in the scene that's on screen in the trailer during that quip. It's always some other fucking thing that, like...
You know what I've noticed a couple times happening, especially with Marvel films in particular?
Yeah.
Is that they'll put a joke in the trailer, and they'll edit it to make it a quicker joke.
Yes.
And then you'll go into the film, and there's like more of a pause between each line of dialogue in the joke, and it doesn't flow as well. I've noticed this. This has happened like a couple times.
Yeah.
Yeah, they accidentally make the joke better in the trailer, and then it doesn't land as well when the time comes. Yeah, that's unfortunate. Yeah, but I feel you on that wanting to be excited by the trailer, and you know.
Yeah. I see. I don't mind trailers for video games are different than movies because I feel like because you're playing a game, you're not like the trailer isn't gonna spoil. If it
your
makes sense in my head,
of the game. It's not going to spoil the way that you play it, you know, because really, like the storyline or whatever can be spoiled on you, but the actual things that you do, they're going to be relatively unique to you.
Yeah,
like, you know, obviously you're going to use the same fucking attack combos or whatever that everyone else is going to use, but you're going to play the game your own way.
Yeah,
you know, and so they can't really spoil that on you.
Yeah,
you know?
Yeah.
There's more engagement there. Like it's more than just finding out what happens. It's like
you have more control over what happens in a video game, which kind of makes it a little bit more ambiguous as to what's going to happen. Because any game that I've played where I've been like, wow, I have this great story from playing this game. It's never I watched a cutscene and this happened, because I didn't do that. That was someone else made that cutscene. But if I'm playing like Dwarf Fortress and some crazy shit happens, that's all because I did a thing.
Yeah.
And like whatever way I ordered the dwarves to do a thing, they did it this way, and it did a weird thing.
Yeah.
And you like everyone has their own stories from games like that, you know?
Yeah. Yeah, I feel you. Yeah.
That's what I like about games as opposed to movies, is that you can go into a game and come out with your own story.
Yeah.
If that makes sense.
Yeah, it does make sense.
Yeah.
No, I definitely get that. I don't know.
You don't play a lot of video games.
I don't play a lot of video games, so I can relate to the sentiment behind that, and I think it sounds exciting, sounds riveting. But video games have just never really been my cup of tea.
That's fair.
I do watch, like I'll always watch the trailers for the Marvel films and stuff that come out, even if I'm not particularly excited for them. Ant-Man and the Wasp, a trailer came out for that recently. I watched it. It looks better than the first Ant-Man, to be honest. I'm not gonna lie. I think it looks more entertaining. So I'm glad I watched the trailer, because my only problem with the trailer is that my only problem with the trailer is actually the thing that I like about the trailer, which is that they show a lot of interesting things being done with the idea of the shrink technology.
Yes,
which is cool. I'm glad to see that, but also it raises the alarm that maybe that's all. Maybe they've shown it all. Maybe they will have shown it all by the end.
Yeah.
I've kind of established an unwritten rule for myself in the last couple of years that I'll watch like maybe the first 2 trailers that come out for something, if I'm actually looking forward to it and I really want to see it, I'll just stop then, because after a certain point, like, I feel like trailers hit a peak a couple of years ago where they were just exciting and they didn't give everything away, and now they've passed that, because now trailers are like 3 minutes long. Instead of just being an ad on TV amidst a bunch of other ads that are all like 30 seconds long, it's now a 3.5 minute long video on YouTube.
Yeah.
And they're just putting way too much in there.
No, I've never been a like people are like, oh, the new trailer came out for this thing, and it's like, okay, cool. I'll probably catch it like through context on Twitter from people posting shit from it, or whatever the fucking meme is from it when it comes out.
Yeah.
Like the Civil War one, where it was like two people have a disagreement, and then it's like
Civil War. I like that meme.
Yeah, that was a good one.
That
was pretty fun.
yeah, it's pretty good.
I like that movie.
Yeah.
I keep talking about Civil War because it actually like quite surprised me.
Yeah, I can tell that you were surprised by it.
Yeah.
But yeah, that's a good one. Russo brother ones tend to be pretty good.
Yeah.
Oh,
Arrested Development
is
getting a new season.
Oh, is it?
In like 2 weeks.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
Interesting. I haven't seen all of Arrested Development. I should get back
You
on
should.
that. But like
They re-edited
as I
the
mentioned,
last
I'm already
season.
back on. I'm back on It's Always Sunny, and there's so much of that to get through.
Yeah.
So I'll probably be.
But yeah,
ramming
they
through that for a
re-released
while.
the last season of Arrested Development because the way it worked originally was each episode focused on one character,
Yeah.
and it was non-linear. So each episode would start with a character from their point of view at the start of the story, but then the next episode would start at the same start point with that story but follow a different character.
Right, that's pretty cool.
And it was really cool to see how like everyone interacted and stuff, and stuff that happens early on where you're like, what the fuck does that mean, gets explained at the end when you follow a different character, or stuff that you didn't even know was that character doing something you find out was actually that character all along. But they re-edited it to make it linear, and like each episode follows like just is shot like a normal episode of Arrested Development. I haven't watched that yet, but I'm quite interested to see how that season differs when you take away the weird time stuff.
It's an interesting. That is very interesting.
It's a very good show. It's all seasons of it are really funny. And
This is a totally
excellent.
unrelated thing.
Yeah, go for it. We've got time.
Yeah, but I this is something I saw years ago, and I never looked into, and I've always wanted to. Someone edited together Breaking Bad as a film,
Oh,
but apparently it flows really well.
I bet it would.
Yeah, and they spent like 6 months working on it. I'm really interested to see that. Apparently it's like
Yeah.
2.5 hours long, but apparently it's a good telling of the story. But like,
Oh, I rewatched that recently. There's a large portion in the middle of that show where fuck all happens.
I was discussing this with Sive, the girl I work with, the other day, because she hasn't finished it, and I know a couple of people who haven't finished it. And I personally found when I was watching it that there's a point, like the point during which they were working for Gus lasts 2 seasons,
yes.
and I think halfway
Season 3 and season 4,
halfway
yeah.
through season 4, you're fucked up of it. You're like,
Yeah.
get rid of this guy.
I think
Let's move on to something new.
see, the interesting thing is it works as a week-to-week thing,
Yeah.
but it really doesn't go well with the newer like binge
watching
watch
kind of
situation
attitude.
that we have with shows now.
Because it begins to stretch 2 seasons of the one villain, and I wouldn't mind, except he's a really interesting villain, and the development of that villain, of that character in general, is very
idea
well
of
handled
of
from
a-
episode to episode, because it's done very, very what's the word I'm looking for? Bit by bit, in segments almost. It's done like little bit by little bit, where first they establish him as he is now,
Yes.
and then they start to establish that he has more of a dark side, and then they start getting into his past.
Yes.
And then
yes.
they start to show you who he's becoming. And the whole progression of
Yeah,
that story
yeah.
is really interesting if you can keep in it, but it does feel, as I say, meandering.
Yes.
Meandering is my word.
I
of the
keep
week.
nodding in agreement, realizing that no one can see us talking.
Yeah.
So now it just sounds like you talking to nobody. So you have to remember to be like, yes,
Yeah.
yes.
Yeah.
But yeah, it meanders quite a bit.
It definitely does. But it's so worth it. And this is what I was
Such a
saying
good
to
fucking
Sive.
show.
It's
It's like one of the best shows.
as soon as you start season 5, like that season is incredible, start to finish. I don't think there's a lull. I really don't.
I walked in the other day into the sitting room. My parents were watching Hollyoaks, and there was some crazy shit going on in Hollyoaks. Someone
there always
kidnapped a
is.
baby or something, and
Yeah.
yeah, some guy was going nuts, and it was all crazy. And my mom like turned to me and said, "Oh, it's a bit like Breaking Bad, isn't it?" And I said, "Absolutely not," and left. I was like, how dare you?
Man, there's a guy who used to teach me acting called
Yes.
Johnny Ward. He's famous.
He's famous.
He's low key famous. He's Ireland
Okay.
famous.
See, I'm trying to like stop because you keep saying full
I keep
names.
saying
and
full
I'm
names.
like, stop.
Yeah. Sorry.
This guy's name is out there.
This guy's name's
Yeah.
out there. He's a pretty well known dude. But the reason I bring him up is because he was in, I think it was Coronation Street for for a long stretch last year.
Yeah.
And I don't know if you heard anything about this, right? But it was in my face all the time. I've never watched an episode of Coronation Street.
Wow.
Like not in full. It's been on in the background.
Yeah, okay,
You know,
okay.
But I've never sat down and watched an episode of Coronation Street. But I assume it's Coronation Street. It could be the other one. But is there another one? Who cares?
There's a
The
bunch of them.
point is he kidnapped a main character and he held her hostage for like I think maybe 2 full
that not
seasons
Fair
or something.
City?
Maybe it's Fair City. That's the
Fair
other one.
City. Yeah, that's Irish. Yeah.
Yeah, Fair City. Makes sense. He's Irish. But that was, and it was a really. Do you remember that? People were fucking up in arms about this.
I remember my parents talking about it.
Yeah,
I
that's
never
him.
watched it.
He was my acting teacher. Johnny is his name. He's a really nice guy. He was in a season of Love Hate as well.
Oh wow. Yeah.
He's also in an ad for Lions Tea.
cool.
Yeah, you know the ones with the tea master, and he's like, "What makes a great cup of tea?"
Oh yes,
and he's
yes.
like, "Ah, sure, we put the talk into tea."
Yeah.
He's the young lad in that. Yeah,
That's crazy.
He's a dope ass dude. Good for him. He have friends with him on Facebook. This is total sidetrack now, but I'm friends with him on Facebook.
That's like your wealth of choices really in Irish like film. If you want to be an actor in Ireland, you have like 3 things.
Yeah, you can go
Lions
Love
Tea,
Hate,
Love Hate,
Tea.
or Fair City. That's like the 3 roles of an Irish
and
actor.
not only that, but he plays a big part in the fucking Gaiety Panto every year.
Oh
so
my
he's
god!
fucking flying,
Oh my
man.
god! He's in everything.
Absolutely destroying
He's
it.
in
Ireland.
everything that Ireland makes.
Yeah, but he played the character he played in Love Hate was called Polly.
Oh, it's Red Rock now. Sorry.
Red Rock. Yeah, that's right. That's a big thing now. But he played a character called Polly.
Yes.
And he was like a villain character, right? And there's
What
a fucking
season?
I think it was season 4. I think it was season 4.
I don't remember this at all. I think that was.
Did you watch Love Hate?
Yes.
Okay,
yeah.
I know.
I
the
didn't
context,
watch the last season because
okay,
I fell off after
I know the
season 4.
context of his character. He, Nidge, the main guy in Love Hate, makes some kind of deal with some gangster in Spain to borrow money off him or something, and so
That's season 5, I think.
maybe, and then the gangster basically sends Polly to Ireland to look after Nidge and make sure that he doesn't.
Yeah, that
fuck
sounds
up.
like season 5. Yeah.
But anyway, he was in the full season. He was really good in it. But then, on Facebook one day, a little bit after New Year's, maybe a year or 2 ago, he put up a picture, he was at the like New Year's, you know, the ball drop thing that they do in Dublin or whatever. He was at that.
Never
And,
been invited, but you know.
Yeah, no, same. What the fuck, lads? Where's the invite for Translation Lost? Ireland's treasure.
Ireland's number 1 podcast.
Ireland's number 1 podcast.
And that's hilarious. One of my favorite podcasts is
It's
also an
Irish,
Irish
yeah.
podcast, but we're number 1.
Absolutely. But he put up this picture on Facebook, and the caption was, I was walking through the backstage area, and suddenly I heard this thick Crumlin accent shout, "Oi, Polly, let's get a selfie!" And there's a picture of him with Conor McGregor.
That's hilarious.
It was the fucking coolest thing. I loved it so much.
That's so good.
Yeah, very impressed. I'm very jealous.
I feel like Conor McGregor would love Hate.
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely. Conor McGregor, I bet he wants to be in Love Hate. I bet he wishes it was still going so he could get a cameo in it, just as some hardy lad.
No, I think he wants to do it in real life.
Yeah,
I think he wants to be
he wants to be a
real
drunk
life.
kingpin.
Yeah.
Yeah, he's just doing that fighting thing so he could get a bit of
I'd
dogs
fight
together,
Conor
buy a load
McGregor.
of coke. You'd fight Conor McGregor?
Yeah.
I would watch you fight
I'd
Conor
go into
McGregor.
the ring with Conor McGregor.
Yeah, I would.
I'm calling him out.
Let's make this
I'm
happen
calling him out.
right here, right now. Conor McGregor, if you are listening to this, we know you are. We know you are.
You're Irish.
fucking Machine McGregor versus Big Money. fucking.
What's the group? Big fat drunk.
big fat Judas drunk Iscariot. I don't know, something else. Pioneer, maybe even.
Yeah.
Brian. Yeah.
I have
Just a load of fucking half a queer.
Yeah.
Loads of things. Just all these insults.
horrible.
As many
Yeah.
insults as we can pile into one nickname. That's your name on the group chat.
Just
we hurl all that abuse at you, man.
oh my god, we're on 2 hours and 3 minutes.
We did it without
what?
even trying.
I think Yeah, we did not have to consciously extend that at all. We just flew.
It was totally natural, man. We just had loads to talk about.
Well, I think this is a good place to end it.
I think it is, yeah.
Because all things have to come to an end.
Yeah, unfortunately.
Like love, hate.
Like our friendship.
Oh. This podcast is just going to end with us not being friends anymore. Okay.
Yeah, someday. I mean, I'll be back in 2 weeks. But
I thought you meant we were just going to end it now.
Now
and
that's
stop
it.
being friends.
I'm actually going to go home, Brian.
Yeah.
Your house is too warm and muddy for me.
Muddy?
Wake your parents up. They're driving me home right now. No. Right. What's the things we say at the end? Thanks for listening, first of all.
Thanks
if you've
for
made
listening.
it this far.
If you made it this far.
Yeah. You probably haven't.
Yeah. Follow us on Twitter.
Yep.
Subscribe.
At TLostPod on Twitter.
At TLostPod on Twitter. Like us on Facebook.
Yeah. Translation Lost Podcast.
If you send us a message on Facebook, we'll probably reply.
Yeah, probably.
Yeah.
Yeah, personally.
In fact, we'll definitely reply.
In fact, we'll take your name from the message and then we'll go to our own profiles and we'll send you a personal message.
I'll send you. Dara will send you a picture of one of his nipples.
Only the left one. The right one's
the
a bit
left one.
funny
I
looking.
send you the right one. On
Yeah. Collectively,
you get my right nipple
get
and
a set
Dara's
of
left nipple,
titties.
and you put them together.
Yeah.
You need 2 phones.
And the game is you guess which nipple is.
Oh, but our names. Well, we'll do it through the.
Yeah, we'll do it through
loss.
translation loss. Yeah,
that's
fine.
beautiful.
Yeah.
Everything you need to get to, there's links. If you want to send us an email, it's.
If you want to send us an email, we'll reply with some nitpicks. It's translationlostpod.
We've just scared away all of our regular emails.
Yeah. Barry and Noshi are gone. Fucking translationlostpodcast@gmail.com, isn't it? Translation, or is it translationlostpod?
Translationlostpod@gmail.com.
Yeah, translationlostpod@gmail.com.
Yeah, leave a like too. Why not? Why not?
Leave a like, leave a comment, subscribe.
Comment first.
Add me as a friend. Fucking
send me your bank details.
Yeah. Send me one of your children.
If you could cut one of your fingers off, put it in a box.
Yeah, I need.
Send it to my home address.
Preferably pinky, but I'm not that pushed.
Look.
Okay, we're meandering now.
We are meandering.
Alright, so fucking do all that shit we said.
Or else.
Yeah, or else it's fucking.
Or else I'll be sending you one of my fingers.
We are Translation Lost. We will be better at this next week.